Yay, we're live.
Okay. Oh, I just remembered. Let me check this real quick.
Cool.
Nothing. Go ahead.
Did you hit the green button? Did you monetize?
I just did that.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yep.
That's important. All right,
Yeah.
so we are making the Triskelle wallet by Sewgnar with Sewgnar. This is the one that I purchased from her 2 years ago.
God, it's been that long. Crazy.
I know. I hate life. But it's holding up beautifully. A friend of mine really wants one, and I've wanted to make one since Nicole released the pattern. So this is what we are going to make today.
Yep. So, hi, everybody. Welcome. Sorry, I'm just adding some edge coat to my pieces that are going to be left raw within the pattern. So that way we don't have to sit through that process. Hi, everybody. Everybody's commenting. Hello, hello. Welcome. So, yeah, we are making the Triskelle wallet. It is a trifold style wallet. This is what the cover looks like if you've not seen it before. But it's a trifold style long wallet that has 12 card slots, 1 IG window, and a zipper pouch area that runs the length of the wallet. And then it also has a wrist strap connector, or you could even make it a crossbody connector because there are 2 D-rings on the inside of the flap. And so it allows you to connect, there we go, on either side of the wallet for lefties or righties. And yeah, I would rate this as an intermediate pattern, but only because it's a lot of folding. And I know that throws people off, but you'll see in the construction when we get into these back pieces that these marks that we've made will line up and show us exactly where we need to be folding everything.
I'm so stoked. I will mention, and I was texting you about it, one of my pieces is 1/2 inch shorter than it should be. My cameo errored, and I didn't know, and I didn't want to recut it. So we're just going to have a shorter zipper pocket section, luckily, so it works out.
You've got yours really loaded down in there.
It's so full.
Yeah. Lots of coins.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so do you want to go over materials first?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the Triskelle comes with all of the pattern pieces except for the cotton pieces, which are just rectangles, but the whole pattern is a rectangular pattern. But you have 3 long pieces, and then through a series of folds, we will be origamiing these and create the interior. So we have 2 interior pieces, and you see one, this one has the ID window cut out, and I've got all of my holes cut, or my slots cut out. Yep. Oh, another note too is ours might be, the orientation might be flipped, and that A, doesn't matter, and B, it just depends on the way that you cut your textile. But I designed it to have the card slots going in opposite directions so that when it's full and it's folded, that it still lays nice and even. Some people are weary of that because when you're carrying it, if they cut their card slots too wide or something of that nature, cards can fall out. But I don't know what your experience has been.
No, literally never.
Yeah, I've never had that problem, but I have heard of it. So my note for that is just be aware of how wide you cut your card slots, because if they're too wide, then it's not going to hold on to the card.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will say I absolutely love this pattern. Like, I have a card slot for each one of my like daily use cards. So when Dorothy goes through my wallet, I know exactly what's missing. And then I have all of my like, I don't know what these are. I don't care. I just carry them because they're cool, I guess.
Right, because it fills up space.
Yeah. So I've had 0 issues, and I love this wallet so much.
Okay. Okay, so we've got the 2 interior pieces, and then we have the exterior piece. I went ahead and added my fancy new thingy here, and for those that are interested, I did it 6 inches down from the top of the flap.
Okay, so that's where our magnetic snap markings are.
The magnetic snap markings are actually on the bottom of the exterior. Okay. So you want to measure from the top without the snap holes.
Okay, so this is the piece with card slot markings, yes?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
So we're getting the exterior has the only markings on it are going to be the 2 magnetic snaps there at the bottom.
Okay. So 6 inches from this side.
Yep. From the top edge there.
Okay. Let me do that really quick. And this piece is cut accurately, so I'm good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue, especially given that it was on the zipper pouch area.
Yeah.
In my run of making Triskelles, I have made every error possible, and almost always when it comes to like the folding aspect, if I'm not paying attention or if I don't mark my fold lines correctly, but it can be amended during the construction process. So it's, you know, nothing is done until it's done. And really you could just cut off the edge coat and go back and fix it. I've done all manner of things with this wallet. You should have seen me trying to design it. It was such a brain teaser.
I believe it. And that's one thing I'm excited about making this with you is because I feel like we're very similar in the like, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Like, yeah, I'm not a lost cause until you literally can't get cards in the wallet.
Yeah, and if you like accidentally overcut or something, then you might be getting into the weeds a bit. But truly, it's generally you can't go so far that you ruin it.
Okay, so we want our nameplate to be, okay, here's my magnetic snaps. This is 6 inches down from the other side. So is it face up or upside down? Face up.
You want it face up toward the top of your flap or the top of the exterior panel.
Okay, cool.
So Lynn, yes, Lauren is using vinyl. She's using her Luxe vinyl. Katrina said, did you edge coat the cork with Mod Podge or another edge coat? When I'm just sealing my edges, I just do Mod Podge, and I do just regular Mod Podge, and I use the matte because I don't want it to be super shiny.
Excited. Okay.
Okay. So let's see.
Hardware wise, do we want to go over hardware?
Yep. So hardware, we have two sets of snaps.
I'm using 10 millimeter.
Of course you are. You like to really make your fingers hurt.
I know. Should I use 18 instead? I don't have 14.
You can use 18. I mean, really, it's up to you. It's not going to change overall. Yeah. The bigger ones obviously are easier to install, and it might give you a little bit more leeway if things are a little askew at the end. You might have a little bit more leeway with 18.
I don't have any of the slim 18, and I feel like it's just so nice with the slim. So we'll do these. If it doesn't work, I could always try to change them.
Yep, and you'll be able to. But just to note, I'm not using slims either. So this is somehow I accidentally ordered the standard size, which is weird when you've used slim for so long.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got my zipper tape and my zipper pull.
Okay.
And then 2 D-rings. So a note about the D-rings. In the pattern, I call for 1/2 inch, but you can certainly use 3/4 inch. I wouldn't suggest going any higher than that because the top flap, the structured body is only 1 inch wide. So you don't want bigger hardware there.
Yeah.
But you can use a 1/4 inch. You can, or yeah. Well, I've never seen 1/4 inch, but you can use 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. Stuff like this is not going to make or break the wallet. You can choose your own adventure when it comes to stuff like that. And same thing with the zipper tape. It can be number 3. It can be number 5. It can be metal. It can be zipper by the yard. It can be whatever you want.
Yeah, I've got a number 5 on mine. You used one of the Zipper Valley pulls.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice. But I think the number 3 will be super cute too.
I do. Yeah, I only had one number 3 pull left. I actually just ordered some from your shop yesterday or the day before. But yeah, those number 3s are just so wily for me to attach, and I just didn't want to be too embarrassed this morning.
That's fair.
Okay, I also have my vinyl window, and I went ahead and cut out a thumb hole.
Okay, I'm going to do that really quick. So you have it in the SVG files for the thumb hole, and it cuts it out perfectly. For some reason, mine messed up, so I have one, but I'm going to go ahead and use a little hole punch.
Yep, so that's what I use too. I have a little leather punch that I use for almost all of mine too.
Ooh, I like the shape of that one. I don't know if I have that.
Yeah, I just bought it. It was like a one-off piece that I've...
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I always think it could be a fun little detail to have some like random shape in there.
I cut a heart out of one on a... I don't know that I ever got to use it though, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, and you have the like press plates for your thing too. Oh, I dream of those.
This is from Snap Tools. Like, it wasn't super expensive. and they like screw off and on to raise and lower the height of the plate. It's kind of cool.
Oh.
This is my first time using it.
Oh, okay, sweet. A day of firsts. I love it.
Please bear with me. I don't know, because yeah, that won't fit. So I gotta take something off.
And so just a note too, you might see, just for the people that are watching, the Mod Podge, when it dries hard. Whereas, so the difference between Mod Podge and the difference of Mod Podge and Edge Coat is Edge Coat dries soft. It's like a plasticky feeling. It's very almost like spongy. Yeah, it's super pliable. Mod Podge dries hard and clear. So if I have some little hairies after I Mod Podge it, I'll even hit it with a lighter again to get all of those off. Because sometimes the roller tool will agitate the cork and it'll cause little pieces to fluff up.
I don't know how well this is gonna work. Oh, press plate. I have a different press plate too. I just don't know where it is right now.
Yeah, who was it that was making them, or her husband or her dad was making them a couple of years ago?
Holly, I believe. All right, I think I got it. Maybe not. Yep.
Yeah, I just go old school and use a hammer with mine.
Oh, that's smart. I do have like a mallet and stuff like that. It's just like if it's not in this section, I don't
use it.
get up to go get it. Your space is like right across from the.
I'm pretty, yeah, I don't really have to stand up unless I go to my machine. Then I have to stand up and walk over there.
That's fair, yeah. Okay. My thumb hole is ready. I'm using a glitter, of course.
Oh, cute. Glitter vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into those because those are so cute, especially on the little ID windows. Just like, just enough.
A little hint of it. Yeah, I have a bunch of clear TPU and glitter clear TPU coming.
That's exciting. You always have stuff coming, though.
So much. It's overwhelming.
How's the new space coming along?
So there isn't much done except like things dug up, so it just looks like a hot mess, but it will be coming together like, and it's just crazy to me. Like
it's amazing.
Surreal for sure. I keep thinking like, no, that's not really happening. It's like,
so is it going to be a warehouse? I know you said that you're going to start having classes and stuff. So what is the layout going to be? What's the setup going to be like?
So we're building on to the building that we already have, and we're expanding warehouse, and then there'll be a separate entrance for class only. So our current footprint of the building is like 2,200 square feet, and we're adding 3,500 square feet.
Oh my God, that's massive.
I know. And I'm just like, no, it's not that big, but like once it's actually built, we're going to be like, there's so much more room for activities.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. So how big of a like classroom space are you going to have?
Let me see. I'll pull up a photo, like a digital
rendering.
Yeah.
So do you get to design it too, or is it just kind of like prefab? Oh, that's so exciting.
We're going super simple. I'm going to do a lot of painting within the space as well.
Like painting the walls, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I always say I'm going to do that, and then like I never get to.
Well, I mean, in the scheme of things.
Right.
That's a low one.
So we have like Kayla actually came up with 2 layouts that the classroom could have, but this is more or less. That's our 16 industrials.
Hold on, keep it up. I'm going to look on the computer. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll just be set up all the time.
Yes. But of course they're on wheels, so we could wheel them out of the way and do like a domestic class too, anything like that. These are going to be like cutting table on wheels, so we can move anything wherever. A very fluid room.
That's so cool.
I know, crazy. And then of course there's a bathroom. You know.
Well, knew that. So what's your projected open date for all that?
They said they'll be done in November.
Wow, right before the holidays. All right.
Yeah. So maybe we'll try to do a class, but I definitely want to get all kinds of teachers in. Obviously, you have to come and teach a class too. Like, it's not for me to teach in, it's for everybody else to come teach in. You know, I'm tired.
Well, that'll be nice to have that in that region of the United States too, because you know a lot of times, especially with So Magical, we do a lot of them in the southern states and down here. So it's nice to have a Midwest hub.
Yeah, and we're like 30 minutes from an airport, so it's not far.
Doing big things over there.
Feels scary. I'm not an adult.
Well, sorry to inform you, but I think you are.
Okay.
Okay, so we have all the hardware done, and then so we need our wrist strap. Okay, and then our fabric. So we have the ID window backing, and then the 2 pocket linings.
How important is the pocket lining?
Not at all. You could totally leave it off.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured. Mine was cut out of vinyl, and I was like, that's going to be way too thick. Yeah. And then I just didn't feel like cutting a fabric, so.
No, you're fine. And then we have our card slot material. So I'm using landscape material, of course, and mine are, they're not pieced together yet. So you'll see that I'll end up piecing them while I'm sewing, because I always just cut off the 36-inch side.
Makes sense. It's not important. I'm using this like waterproof ribbon, but it does, like, on the long way, it can rip, but I haven't had an issue with card slots. I couldn't find, no, I didn't look for landscape.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Really, as long as it's not super thick, it's going to be fine. And then as far as like the ripping and stuff, once it's in there and it's set, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then lastly, we just have our interfacing or our stiffener. I'm using Craft Tex, so I've got those cut. Oh, here's my other piece.
Is Craft Tex a self-adhesive or?
It's not, no. So I'll use double stick tape to adhere this. Oh, I just really like Craft Tex because it's so thin but so stiff. It provides a really nice structure to the
nice. I'm using the self-adhesive interfacing. It's not super stiff, but I think it'll add enough structure.
Yeah, and I don't know, I've never used your vinyl. Is it pretty excuse me, stiff?
No, I mean, like, it really does have the same feeling of cork in weight.
Okay. Oh, well then, yeah, you'll be fine. And then especially once we get all the folds going and stuff, and then of course when cards are added, then.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yep. Okay. Can't get much stiffer than plastic.
She said.
I was going to say insert joke here, but.
I did it.
Okay. So, as a preface to you and everybody else, I write patterns the way that I think people generally sew. So I chunk it down. But when I'm making patterns, I do all of my prep work and then I start going through each section.
What makes sense to you?
Yes. And so the biggest thing in sewing that I've always hated is straps and things like that. So I always just knock that out because there's nothing worse than getting all the way to the end of a bag or a wallet and then having to make the strap.
Yeah. And you're like, I just want to be done. I'm so happy with it. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's start with our strap. And we're going to do a tri-fold style. So you're going to fold one long edge in and then encase that long edge to create the tri-fold.
I think I'm going to use 1/4 inch double-sided tape for this then.
Oh, perfect. I always just use these fancy clips that I got from somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my bobby pins and these clips are what I always do for straps. Unless I'm doing a really long strap, then I'll tape.
Do you ever like measure or make any kind of marking line, or do you just eyeball it?
I just eyeball it. But if you want to, you can make a mark at 1/2 inch, and then that can be your fold line.
That would be the line I fold to?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
I've made these straps like a bajillion times, so to me, I can just whip them up. But yeah, I always just toss a couple clips in there. Yep. Okay, so once you have your strap done, oh wait, you're still going. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Take your time.
It'll just be like teaching a class where it's going to take me 3 times longer to do it than for you to just do it.
Well, that's good. I know the folks at So Magical, they want me to teach a wallet in one of the classes, and I'm apprehensive because people get so nervous about recessed card slots. So this is good. I've never actually like taught or walked through one of these style patterns.
Oh, with this many. Yeah, because the Gallivanter doesn't have them.
Well, the Gallivanter has 4 recessed card slots, but even that was a challenge.
Yeah.
But I think when people practice, then it just like kind of clicks. It's like riding a bike or learning how to drive clutch. Like it takes a minute, but then once you figure it out, you're like, oh, okay, of course.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got it. Ooh, it's so pretty. Okay, so then you're just gonna top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way?
Yep. And so generally I wouldn't even top stitch yet because I would continue doing all of my prep work. But if you want to do.
Well, no, I'll wait. I'm good.
I think this is like it's like my sewing machine is so far away, which it's not. Obviously, it's just right on the other side of my table. But that's why I've gotten into this habit because I have to work over here and go over there.
Yeah, I love this.
Okay, so we've got this prepped. We're going to put that to the side. We're going to grab our zipper tape, our zipper pull, and our zipper tabs.
Okay.
And then, so add your pull.
Yep, pull's on. I use the doodad. And then what length should this be?
So you want it to be as wide as the panels. It's going to be 7.5 inches wide.
Oh my God, I eyeballed it and it's perfect.
Oh, way to go. Hey, if that's any indication of how this process is going to go, it'll be a good day.
Great.
Okay. So whenever I was adding, what is it called? Mod Podge, I did just the inside of my snap connectors as well. Or not snap connectors. What are these? Zipper tabs. So I'm being sure to ensure that that's the side that I'm putting toward the inside of the zipper.
Okay. And then we are using the 1 inch width to fold around so it's 1/2 inch on each side of the zipper.
So here, I'll show you.
Okay.
See, this is like one of those questions. I'm like, oh yeah, just lay this like this. But so what I do is I just lay one raw edge along the zipper and then I complete the size that I need with the other side. So the entire length, including the zipper tabs, is now going to be 7.5 inches. And if I have any excess, like I do here, after I sew it, I'll trim the zipper out.
Okay.
And so you want the entire the entire thing to be as wide as your panel.
Your panel, yeah. You did say that and it didn't make sense.
It's totally fine.
But it does, because that's just the way this material works. This is fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't ever fold under, do anything like that just because it adds so much bulk. And I like to avoid that whenever possible.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Christine, is that glue? Yes. So you'll notice that I'm going to switch back and forth between Fabri-Tac glue and double stick tape. When it comes to stuff like this, adding zipper tabs, I generally just use glue because it does the job just fine. And then I don't have to deal with using tape. But you'll see, I'll go back and forth between the two. Tristy said, I just made my first mini box yesterday, and of course I didn't do the strap first, so it's just sitting here. See? That's why you gotta do your straps first.
So for the tab, you would put that like literally over the entire length of that 7.5 inch zipper then, essentially.
Wait, say that again?
Like for the zipper tab, I've just laid it over top of that 7.5 inch length.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great.
Yep. Okay, so now we're going to put this to the side with our prepped stuff. Next, we're going to find our piece that has the ID window opening.
Yep.
And your vinyl, and glue or tape your vinyl into place.
The clear vinyl.
Yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. You knew what you meant, but I wanted to verify.
Teaching is always such a humbling experience because you're like, oh, this is like in the bag and everybody thinks like me and can make it just like me. But then people ask questions and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Oh, I know that, but you don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't live in my brain. Got it.
Right. I feel the same exact way.
All right, let's see. Did anybody else? Karen said, is Craftex stiffer than Peltex? Yes. Craftex is a paper-based product, and so it's mashed up pieces of paper or cardboard. It's like it's like craft paper, but a bunch of it, and it's not super thick at all, but it's definitely stiff. On its own, you can use Craftex and make stuff with it. I personally don't love that unless I'm doing like a base of a bag. But yeah, so truth be told, I use Craftex because I bought a bunch of it thinking I was going to love it, and I didn't love it for its intended purpose. So then I started using it as interfacing. Good morning, Jill.
The friend that I'm making this for really loves woven labels, so I think I'm going to add a woven label in front of the ID window.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I can never really figure out ways to add them to my wallets, but that's a really good idea.
Yeah, like the "you look really pretty today" would be super cute there.
Yeah, you're so sweet. Okay, so we're going to take this first round of stuff over and prep all of this. So we have our vinyl ID window, and what we're going to do is just stitch 1/8 all the way around. And you're going to stitch underneath the first cut line. Sorry, So you stitch up. Go ahead.
1/8 around and then right above our 1/8 stitch. Okay.
Yep. And that's going to be a dummy stitch because if we don't do that, then it's going to be obvious that we didn't do it. And then you'll also sew across your zipper tabs, and then you'll also stitch around all 4 sides of your wristlet strap.
It feels really nice to make a project without rushing through it, because lately I've had 0 time to like actually sit down and like creatively sew, and it's been hard. So
yeah, I mean, you're a machine. Oh yeah, we were doing hardware. Forgot to say that we needed a lobster clasp too.
Oh yeah.
And so this is kind of on the same vein of your hardware. So if you only have like 1-inch hardware or 3/4 inch, just use what you've got. You don't have to go out and source 1/2-inch hardware. Also, I have this terrible cough, so I apologize.
So what stitch length do you primarily use?
So I've been really into the longer stitch lengths recently because I really like seeing the stitches. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm using a size 4, but I was just looking at it. I'm like, oh, it's so tiny compared to what I use. But I think I hover around a 4, 4.5.
Perfect. Yeah. Same here. I've got a 4.5 at the moment. I feel like it's like strangely easier to control that bigger stitch length.
Yeah, and I'm kind of bad about messing with my stitch length, but sometimes when I get it dialed in perfectly, it will stop at the exact right time, and I don't have to like try to, make it look nicer.
Yeah, definitely.
And so another thing, I'll be right back. Let me grab this. So if you don't poke holes at the end of your card slots, a lot of times it's hard to tell where you start and stop. And I've noticed on some of mine, I can get a little, lift you up a little bit. So you're not just looking at my double chin.
I like that.
I know I have my hair all up in a top knot too. My forehead is so big. Anyways, but you can take washi tape and lay it along each side, and then it gives you a visual representation of where to start and stop. So that's what I'm going to do, because sometimes I'll get a little crazy and go over and have to pull out and stuff like that.
That's genius.
I don't know where I picked this up at, but I'm sure I didn't come up with it.
Mary says, I'm watching on my phone and my husband pulled up and it connected to the Bluetooth in my car.
Oh.
My husband came in and said it scared him when Lauren started coming through the speakers. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Just the voice of God.
Yeah.
But yes, you could just take washi tape, or really just as long as it's not going to leave residue, you can put whatever you want there. Or of course you can use chalk lines, anything like that as well.
Brilliant. I'm adding my rivet to the strap super quick.
Okay.
Charlie says, I love how Nicole's brain works in terms of getting a bunch of sewing stuff prepped before sitting down to sew. Agreed,
yeah.
Charlie.
I definitely like to, when I'm sewing in batches, I think that's another reason that I do it like this, because I get everything prepped and then I sew it all, and it feels like it takes forever, but then when you're done, you have like 15 completed wallets.
Yeah.
So it feels worth it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my strap too.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can find washi tape. That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Your
I know I sell washi tape on my website, but I'm like, where is it? Where did I pick it?
Yes, I guess like having the workshop, do you like leave stuff there? You know, because I assume all of your shipments come there now.
Yes. So everything that we ship out is at HQ, and I honestly will place orders through the website to pick up.
Oh, that's funny. So they're just like ready to go.
Yeah, like a bunch of hardware. The packing team will pull it for me and be like, here you go, Lauren. Like,
that's hilarious.
Bless. Otherwise, before I got like these shelves up here for hardware, I would like run to HQ at like 10 p.m. when I was ready to sew a bag and look like I'm robbing the place.
Yeah, I think it's like a double-edged sword having a studio outside of your studio.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
It's great because it keeps you like focused when you're at work, but it also, all your stuff's at work.
Yeah, and like I still sew from home. I won't change that. I like my quiet space. But yeah, having all this stuff there, I'm just like, I want it here.
Yeah. I can imagine that that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I've been considering getting a space just because I'm so easily distracted at my house. Like, gotta do the laundry, and then I get hungry, and then the dogs need to go for a walk. And so at the end of the day, I'm like, well, what did I even do all day? Like, I just walked around in circles. And so I've been considering getting a studio space outside, but it seems asinine to pay rent somewhere when we have 2 bedrooms that we don't use.
Yeah. There's definitely pros and cons for sure. Someone is asking, where is HQ? It is in Belleville, Illinois. That's where I live. Nicole, do you have this pattern for cotton? I only have a domestic.
It's not for cotton, and you can certainly make it on a domestic. I'm using a domestic right now. Most of my patterns, especially the wallets, are all going to be for raw edge textiles, so like cork, leather, vinyl, clear vinyl, things like that. Things that do not have to be finished or turned under. Non-fraying textiles. I don't think I have the mental capacity to figure out how to make this out of cotton. Gosh, there would be so much folding.
Yeah.
So much more folding.
Should I add double-sided tape underneath my card slot lines?
Yep, so I was just going to ask you, now that we've gotten the majority of the prep work done, do you want to work on the card slots on the vinyl ID side?
Whatever your brain tells you it wants to do, I'm here for it.
Yep. So that I would finish that, or that's where I would naturally go.
Okay.
But so if you have any excess zipper tape underneath your tabs, you'll want to trim that down.
Okay.
To avoid some bulk. And then of course we have our wristlet straps completed now. So that will go to the side. Waiting for its time to shine at the very end. So with the card slot panel, you need to add your ID window backing. Yeah, okay. So you're going to take your ID window backing, and especially if it's directional, you have to pay attention because you want it to face the right way. If it's directional, you want it to face the top of the panel, but we're going to glue or tape it to the wrong side so that the print shows through the vinyl.
Okay.
And it's going, this washi tape is like not sticking, it's driving me nuts. But it's going to lay right here underneath the second cut line. And it's going to go over the first stitch line and then over the vinyl. And that's why we went ahead and stitched that dummy stitch now, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to access it.
Makes sense. Okay. Oh, it's so cute.
And then with this, I always like to put a healthy amount of glue if I'm using glue, because this will not get stitched into place. Okay. It eventually will be held by the fold, but it doesn't get stitched down.
Okay. So would you use like 1/8 inch wide double-sided tape around the whole thing? Or
I would probably use a 1/4 inch on this just to be sure that it's not going to move at all.
Okay.
Especially since your machine can sew through it.
I do have glue.
Or glue. Yeah, I tend to use glue on stuff like this just because it's right there.
Yeah.
Old habits.
I buy Fabri-Tac because you have Fabri-Tac, and then I just never use it.
All right, let's see. Someone just asked what thread Nicole is using. I'm using Tech 70 Amon from Waywack. Joy said adding the hole at the beginning and end of the card slot helps when adding multiple cards to the slot. Prevents the sides from ripping. Yeah, it also helps to know where to start and stop the stitch line, which is nice. Okay. But I haven't really had an issue with cork ripping. I feel like that would take some force. But
okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Where do you add the backing?
See, this is so I put it above the card slot that we did the dummy stitch.
Okay.
You put it above that one and then all the way around the sides.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, that makes sense now. Okay. So would you say it's like a 1/4 inch from the bottom edge?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
As long as it covers the whole vinyl opening and it goes above that first cut card slot, then I don't care where you put it.
Great. Okay.
And so what that's going to do, just so you know, like in the future, what that does is that creates the back of this vinyl window. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so now what I would do is I would go and add my double stick tape below and then one last piece here near the top.
Okay.
And I don't do the whole length because I cut my card slot material 2 inches wide. The card slots themselves are wider than that. So I just do a little piece of tape just to hold it in place.
Cool. Okay. That makes sense. And then we're going to want the shorter card slot piece. You're piecing yours together so it doesn't super matter, but
yeah, this would be the shorter side.
Okay. And
then another thing that I like to do because I am sewing on a domestic is when I'm adding my tape to the very top section, I leave it about 1/8 inch below the cut edge. So like that. So then when I'm doing my final stitching, my construction stitching, I'm not going to be hitting that tape. I know a lot of people's machines get really pissy when you sew over double stick tape.
Yeah. Stuff by Julie said, so here's a stupid question. Nicole, do you use a denim needle and longer stitches?
I am using a size 18 needle, which technically is the denim needle, yeah. And a size 4 to 4.5, depending on how I'm feeling that day. Liz, no, I'm not using the Optipop. This is just the regular Amon Tech 70 on the yellow cone thing. I do have the Optipop, or however you say it, and that's cool, but I just have one cone of each color, so this is what I have.
I would say that this doesn't hold a phone, really.
It depends on the phone. So some phones, like you have a Max, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bigger phones, it's not going to, not in the pockets, but like I have just the mini phone and it holds mine no problem. So that's just depending on your phone.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so now that we have all of our tape on the back, you're going to grab your shorter piece of landscape or whatever you're using, your backing fabric. And now we're going to start making the card slots. So the pattern comes with a template that you can use. And just a side note, if you were to purchase the acrylic templates, this pattern piece does not come with it because the thickness of acrylic would throw off the layout. So you have to use the paper pattern piece that's included. Otherwise, if you're comfortable with making recessed card slots, you can do this just using a regular credit card, which you'll see me do. So you're going to want to grab either your pattern piece or a card, your backing material, and we'll go over here.
Someone asked, what machine do you have?
I have the Juki TL 2010Q. And so it's rated as a semi-industrial, but I think probably because it's made out of metal and it has probably a longer life span. But in terms of capacity of being able to sew things, I sewed all of this on my home Janome for years before I got the Juki. And I didn't upgrade to a Juki for any reason specifically. I just was presented with it and it worked out. But I still have my Janome and she still works. All right, so just like the tall wallet or any other time we make a recessed card slot, we're gonna, oh, I lost some of my washi tape. This is the top of the panel, if I refer to, so this top, and then the bottom is gonna be by the ID window. And so I like to lay, I just lost my washi tape all the way. I like to lay my panel face down on my table, and then you're gonna peel off the lowest, so the bottom tape, and then your tail of your fabric is going to be going toward the top. And so you're just going to lay it. Yep. So you're just going to lay it about 1/4 of an inch or so. You just want to cover up that double stick tape or glue if you're using that. And then you want to flip to the front and stitch underneath that second card slot to lock that in. And if you want to, you can, pull through and tie off or whatever.
All right, we are underneath the second card slot.
Yep.
I know this is where some people are like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yep.
And it really is confusing, like the first 3 times, and then after that, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, I can make anything recessed.
Unless you're on a cruise ship and it's moving wildly.
Yes, does add some confusion.
Yeah, so we're 1/8 of an inch underneath. This is our first one. Here is our second one. And now we can fold that down.
Well, and a way to check too, an easy way to check to see if you've done it right is you can put your finger or a card in that card slot and you want it to be open. If you have stitched the wrong card slot, you will not be able to get into that slot. So that's just another checks and balances that you can do. Oh my gosh, this washi tape is really not the greatest. All right, so then when you flip it, you've got it wrong side up. You're gonna pull your card slot toward the bottom. And then this is where you would take your template piece and use it, or your card. And I assume, I can see you're working, so I assume you know what you're doing over there with this.
But, I mean, it never hurts to say it. I'm using a little template tool that has a dotted line.
Is that the Carolina Little Stitches one?
Yeah.
I've got one on the way. I'm waiting for it.
So cute. So then we will leave that folded up and top stitch underneath the third line.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so on and so forth. Until you get to the last one. We don't stitch the last one, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Fold it down.
Then another thing to keep in mind is when you're folding these slots along the back, you want to make sure that you're pulling your card slot material taut. So that way there isn't a lot of like gapping when it's all done. Otherwise your cards are going to slip all the way through and you're not going to be able to reach them. So this process is, you have to be pretty like dexterous, but once you get it figured out, it makes sense. So CJ's in Japan right now?
Yeah.
How long's he been there? He's been gone for a little bit, right?
Oh my god, way too long. He left I think Wednesday, June 6th or something.
Oh my gosh, really? It's been that long?
It's been that long. I don't even remember what he looks like anymore.
You're divorced now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just kidding, guys. That was a joke. She's not divorced.
My husband's moved on.
What is he doing in Japan?
So he, I had a bunch of airline miles, and so, a year ago, I was like, dude, that's enough to, go to Japan. You should do it. He always watches YouTube videos on Japan, and, he's loved it forever and ever. So he and his mom went on a trip, and I'm kind of just hoping he finds, some happiness. Not that he's unhappy, but just, he doesn't seem like himself lately. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Who am I in this season of life? I don't know.
Yes, I think that is something that we can all sadly understand.
Yeah.
Gosh, so how long is the trip, though? When does he come home?
He's home Saturday, thank goodness.
Okay. Yeah, how's Dorothy been with him being gone?
She hasn't really asked about him.
Oh, oops. I mean, I'm sure you guys are FaceTiming and whatever too, though. It's so different than back in the day when it's if you're out of the country, you're just gone.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, she's call him, call dad. And I'm yeah, let's do it. But other than that, when I'm gone, I hear on the camera, our front doorbell camera, she's Mommy here? Mommy here? Where's Mommy? So it's just.
And where does she go during the day? When you're working? Does she go to school?
Yeah. So a friend of mine hired a nanny, and she was I mean, you want in on this? So I just pay half of the nanny fee, or an extra fee for Dorothy. But they have one-on-one learning, and they make crafts, and she's learned so much.
That's awesome. I loved being a nanny. It was so fun. It's such more just the whole one-on-one environment is so much easier to manage.
Yeah. And that definitely can't be the case for everybody. And it's not something I would have been able to afford without sharing it. But I'm really thankful. It's been wonderful.
That's awesome. Does she go every day?
I do Tuesday to Friday.
Oh, nice.
So I spend Mondays with her just because I'm I didn't have a kid to, not spend time with her.
Yeah, for sure. Usually people have kids when they want them, yes. And then, well, hopefully. I don't know. Some people these days.
Yeah.
We don't need to go there, though.
Yeah. Just I want to cherish every second.
Well, she's growing so fast.
I know. Ridiculous.
It's huge.
Are you done?
I'm on the last one, but
Okay.
I was just gonna wait and talk you through it if you needed help, or I can just show them what I'm doing.
Yeah. Go for it. I feel okay. I feel good.
What number are you on? I mean, you've got to be almost done by now.
I'm on the second to last one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So just whenever you get to the last one, you're gonna create your fold, your accordion fold the same way, but you're just gonna peel and stick it. You're not gonna stitch.
Okay,
That's really
perfect.
it. And then you're gonna have some excess, and you'll just trim that off.
Cool. Yeah, I was tying my thread, not tying my threads back, but I was pulling them to the back.
Not me.
I'm not gonna tie it. I'm just gonna pull it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So just as a note, and I want to confirm as well, when you're top stitching underneath the line, you want to see your landscape fabric to the right, essentially. You want to see it face up, because if it's not, then you're doing something wrong.
I don't know that I understand the question.
Like, so I'm about to top stitch underneath that line, and here's my fabric, the tail.
Yes, it's going to be hanging out at the top. Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, whenever you're stitching, it should be hanging out at the top.
Okay. I just figured something like that could help someone like visualize, okay, I'm doing it right because I see this fabric and I'm going underneath the
exactly. Yeah, so whenever you're physically sewing the card slots, it should be coming out of the top, and when you're folding the card slots, it'll go toward the bottom.
Okay.
Let's see. So while you're still doing that, I will. Rebecca said Wayback is my favorite vendor. Well, besides more me now, of course. Wayback is good. I like to get my interfacings and stuff from them too, because they just ship so quick.
Yeah.
I will say their hardware though, I mean, their hardware is good, but it's different than what we normally use. Like the sizing is a bit different, and it's like their D-rings are really tall as opposed to being, equidistant. Yeah. So there is some stuff from Wayback that I think they're still figuring out, but their customer service though, on point.
For sure.
Gail said, where'd you get your certified vegan signs? Did you see that in here? I don't know. For vending, I had those made, and I had applied to PETA to be a vegan certified company, but recently they started charging like several $100s per year, so I opted out of it, and technically I'm not supposed to use that anymore, but don't tell anybody. All my signs are already made. Perfect.
Yeah. So would you do anything to hold these down ever, or it doesn't?
Yep. So what I like to do is at the end, like when we get to here, I will take some double stick tape and I'll lay it right across the center line, all the way down to the ID window, just to lock that in place as well. And then this also helps adhere when we fold, because we're about to make our first fold.
What?
And this pattern seems super in depth and involved, and it is, but this is just like the tall wall. Once you figure out and you're comfortable with making the slots, you can make these so fast.
I was gonna say, like we had mentioned before we went live, like it's an overwhelming pattern to look at it in the grand scheme of things, but like you take these little bites and it's so much easier.
Yeah, and just once you get comfortable with it and get your feet under you, I can make several in a day. But okay, so now that we have that folded, or we have that ready to go, so this panel you're just going to fold in half, and I like to finger press really well, but the lines on this panel actually equal up to where it's folded in half, and so I just finger press and get a nice edge, and then I'll go back and peel off my double stick tape and actually stick it down.
So it's like this?
Nope, so it's all the way in half.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You're gonna fold it like that.
I'm excited. I'm so nervous. Why am I so nervous?
It's just double stick tape. We can peel it if it's wrong.
That's true.
Let's see. Somebody asked what weight landscape material I'm using. Betsy, it's just standard landscape weed barrier fabric from like Lowe's, Home Depot, the dollar store. It's really thin. It's super thin, but it's hard to tear, and it's not super stretchy. So that's why it's a perfect option. And then of course, I think with my patterns, the biggest thing is that you want to be careful when you're folding. You don't want any like wonky edges if at all possible.
Yeah. Now, would you glue or tape any more? Did you glue out here?
Not yet. Nope. So because we're gonna finish this edge here, and then we're gonna do one more fold, and then this panel. So
okay,
you
cool.
just wait.
Yeah,
you hold your horses.
Other fold lines. What? Okay.
Yep. Okay. So once you get it here, this is when you also decide if you want to have your card panel straight across, or if you want to do like rounded edges or angled edges. I'm gonna angle mine, and I just do 1/2 inch cuts. But the Triskelle looks really great with straight across edges too. But then whatever you decide, then you're going to stitch just along that edge.
Okay. I do love the corners on mine, but I'm not confident. So, so we just top stitch straight across.
Yep.
Do you go edge to edge, or do you leave like 1/8 of an inch?
I go edge to edge. So mine goes all the way across, just like that.
Super.
Okay, so now what I like to do to create this last fold and get it in place. So first I'm going to finger press everything, and then you'll see I'll go back and add tape so that it actually stays put. But so put your panel so the ID window is down, but the folded edge is facing you. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to flip up the top layer, and you see the fold marks. You're going to line up the fold that you see here on this section to the first line on the bottom.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yep. And so then what I like to do is once I get that finger pressed well, yep, exactly. Then I'll go back and add some tape in here to just hold these sides together, or you could just clip it or glue. And what you should have is above this folded edge, you're going to have a 1/2 inch overhang. And this is now going to be a cash slot.
So cool. Why am I so impressed? I mean, like, it is impressive, but I'm just like, I'm doing it.
That's right.
I'm sure you have these days, but like lately I'm like, I can't do anything. And so I'm just really excited to be like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, especially recently because I've really stopped vending a whole lot. So I feel a little aimless these days.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I'm making videos is cool, but it's so much work. I know we've talked about this before. So this is more fun. It's more interactive, and then we're actually, we're kind of checking all the boxes.
I agree. And like, you never know who's going to watch a tutorial or who you're actually helping. And like, you're literally helping me right now.
I know. And it's fun. And it keeps me engaged too. Because otherwise I'll just kind of bump around. Like I was saying earlier, I'll just like walk around. Like, what do I even want to do? And I have a big show coming up in Asheville, and I like really need to get motivated. But usually I'll like the week before, I'll stay up until 2, 3, 4 in the morning, sewing, and then get it done. But until then, I'm like, I guess I'll watch movies. Why not? Okay, so this is now a completed side.
Yay.
Yep. So, and what this is going to become is this part right here is going to become the zipper pouch, and this part is going to be the cash slot.
Okay, so because my other piece is 1/2 inch shorter, should I cut 1/2 inch off now, or I'll wait?
I would cut it off now so you don't forget. Otherwise, you're going to have a super wonky zipper.
Okay. I'm going to measure it, but I'm not going to cut it just yet.
Okay.
I'm just going to mark it.
Christine says, I'm learning that all patterns look complicated. Just trust the process. Yes, that's true. I'm the same way with new patterns too, because I just scan patterns. And then I'm like, well, why am I in this predicament? Why aren't my pieces matching? I just made a Phoebe backpack the other day, and I love it. Oh my gosh, it came out so good. But I had even made one not too long ago, and I was like, why are my pieces not matching up? Like, what is going on? But I powered through, and now I really think that I could like start pushing
Whip
these
it.
out.
So I want to make a Phoebe really bad, but I want to make it into a sling. Like I want to narrow it a little bit and add like sling connectors. I think it'd be so good.
That would be good. And so the only thing that I would suggest is I did binding on this one, whereas the first one I did normal, and that's what was the really big mind bender of it all. My only suggestion would be to add some sort of addition to the zipper, the front of the zipper gusset, because the binding is right there. But it makes a nice, cool, rounded shape. But binding it, oh my God, this bag came together so much quicker.
Yeah.
And you don't need all these extra pockets if you bind it. But I know a lot of people like having the pockets. But
and that's the Phoebe backpack from Sincerely Jen Patterns.
Yes. This is such a classy looking bag. I love it so much. And now that I've made it a second time and I binded it and I used fold over elastic this time, game changer.
I love it.
Okay, so we can put this to the side because we're going to complete our other panel and then we will make the zipper pocket.
Okay. Are we just doing card slots again?
Yep, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side, starting at the bottom, working all the way up.
Sweet. I also wanted to add a little tag to the zipper pouch. I have this tag from Heartwood and Hyde that says, "Look at this stuff, isn't it neat?"
Oh, that's from her Friday,
yeah.
What's it called? Her Tag Fridays or?
Yeah, Fresh Tag Friday, I think.
Yeah, there you go. I knew there's alliteration. So
since I want it to be like that, I would add it here, right?
Yep. So I would say, yep. So this is going to be, well, see, yeah. So I would add it on this side here, and you want the bottom. So this is technically the bottom now.
Yep.
But so yeah, you would add it right there.
Okay, cool. I'll do that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she'd get a real good chuckle out of it.
Yeah, I've been enjoying seeing all the tags. The creativity that y'all have is unmatched.
Yeah. But you know how exhausting it can be to like always be creative.
Yes, and that's why you don't see me doing it. Nancy said Zipper Valley is great for zipper tape or Emmeline. I learned from Nicole. Yes, they are both really great. Lauren has really great tape too.
Yeah, and we have a secret sale going on right now too because we have so much zipper tape we need to get rid of. So if you check out and you notice there's a sale, it's because of the sale.
Well, it's not a secret anymore.
I know. That's why I was hoping to announce it because we need to get rid of zipper tape.
Let's see. Asheville show July 8th and 9th, Brenda, and at the Asheville Civic Center, what used to be called the Civic Center. It's at the concert hall place up there. Christine, we're making, the bag is the Phoebe backpack, but we're making the Triskelle. I'm not sure which pattern you're talking about. And then Liz said, I recently made 10 Phoebe backpacks for a customer. Yeah, Liz, you're a wild one. And then she made 5 into a sling.
That's amazing.
Excuse me. Nancy, Lauren's business is called Mormino, and you can find her stuff at mormino.com. Yeah. Lots and lots of good goodies.
We do have a pickup option if you're local. We have lockers outside the building so that you can come anytime. Because we're not really open for shopping at the time. Like, not necessarily ever, but currently no. But yeah, there's lockers you can pick up from. And if you would like to come and shop in person, you just have to email us and we'll work out a time for that. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
Lockers, huh? You guys are like Walmart with Amazon lockers now.
Pretty much. A friend of mine's husband's work was going out of business and they had a bunch of lockers. And they were like, do you want this? I was like, yeah, that would be amazing to have like pickup orders in.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So how do they get into them?
They're just open. Like they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we do have security cameras. So that and like the building really isn't out in the open. Like it's in an office building. area, like with doctor's offices and stuff. So there's not a lot going on down there.
Do you get like the other business owners coming over? Like, what do you guys do over here?
When we first moved in, like 2 years ago now, kind of, but no, not really. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Like you stay on your side of the street.
A little bit, yeah. And we're like at the very end of the circle, so again, there's really no reason for anybody to come over. Oh yeah, someone said they're looking forward to Sewgnar. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh yeah. Did we want to talk about that a little bit? I know there's some spots left. I don't know how many.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what you're teaching, since this is just muscle memory for you and I'm like heavily concentrating?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, the Sewgnar is August 25th through the 27th, right?
Sounds right.
Yep. It's in St. Louis, and there are 4 designers there, and every patron gets to take all of the classes. And we have domestic classes, we have industrials, and we have no-sew classes. It's me, Lauren, Heidi from Club. Is her name Heidi? I can never. It's not. I always want to call her Heidi.
Ellie,
yes. I don't know why I always want to call her Heidi. She must have a bag called Heidi or something. But Ellie from Clubhouse, and then Jess from So Many Creations. And so we're all teaching different classes. Everything's included, kits, all of that stuff. And
you just pay for your room and like some food.
yes. And basically it's just more of an emphasis on bag making, wallet making, like accessories. And so the difference between Sewgnar and So Magical is an expo, and there is a little bit of everything. But Sewgnar is all very bag centric.
Yeah. I'm referring to it as like bag making boot camp, more or less.
Yeah. It's very specific.
It's going to be a lot.
I think it's going to be fun though, but it's not going to have as many patrons either. So it'll be a more intimate setting. The classrooms aren't going to be giant, that you don't have to vie for the attention as much, just because it will be such a smaller event.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm really stoked.
It is like 30 minutes from HQ, so if you want to come shop, just let us know. I don't know if we'll have open shopping time, but there is open vending, like pop-up shop situation.
Oh yeah, so that's a big difference from Sewgnar and So Magical is we're not going to have like a vendor hall situation. It's just going to be classes, and then I think we can bring stuff, if people want it, but
yeah, and that'll be later in the day.
Yeah, it's just not going to be a convention. It's just a much more intimate sewing kind of retreat. Is it a retreat? I don't know the difference.
I'm calling it boot camp. I'm sorry.
I like it. Well, when we did the Sewgnar talk, Kayla said that it wasn't a retreat, but I don't know what the difference is.
I feel like for me, a retreat is more laid back.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, like we just did that So Whatever weekend, and I would call that a retreat because you kind of brought what you wanted. It's all very easygoing, like do what you want, don't do what you don't want to do, that kind of a thing.
Okay, so just less structured.
Yeah, I would think personally, not an expert of the word, but it's gonna be intense.
In the best way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm making it sound scary, but maybe
no, you're like, there will be serial killers there.
I mean, it is St. Louis. No, I'm kidding. It's safe.
I've never been there either, so I'm really stoked to check out the city and hang out for a bit.
Yeah, and like it's not far from the Arch and stuff like that. So.
Oh wait, so I totally have been to St. Louis, but we only went to the Arch. We like drove through on our way to Colorado. We went to the Arch, took pictures, and then left. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you went to St. Louis, but I didn't want to call you out. So. Yeah. Well, my memory is not the greatest.
I feel that. Just like, was that this year or was that 5 lifetimes ago? I don't remember anymore.
Am I alive? What's happening?
I think so.
All right, while you're finishing up, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Drink too much water.
Did she really finish those card slots that fast? Jesus. So I feel like using that paper template is probably faster than using the card slot template, but I don't know. I'm okay with this. How thick is the cork and the vinyl? I believe the cork is probably like 0.5 to 0.8 thick. I know this vinyl is 0.8 thick. So it's a really great weight for domestic machines. And this is the mid-weight Lux vinyl. We don't have any in stock right now, but we have tons on the way on my website.
What are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Druzy came in.
Oh. All right, I swear I'm almost done.
Oh, no, take your time. I'll read some of these questions.
Okay,
Laura
great.
said, I'm so excited for Sew Magical. Looking forward to learning from you both. It's going to be really fun. I'm really excited for this one. Druzy, let's be modest, okay?
I'm really stoked to see Ellie teach. Like, she has tons of workshops in her studio in Portland. And so, like, I just love watching other teachers work too and learning how I can do better, honestly.
Yeah, and especially having Ellie, she's been, Druzy, come on. She's been such a stronghold in the industry for so long, but because she's out west, I feel like there's not a lot of crossover. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have, to meet her and create that relationship.
Yeah.
Druzy.
I feel like you guys have a very similar aesthetic.
Yes, very like streamlined and
Yeah.
minimal.
Yeah, and I'm over here like a rainbow unicorn threw up.
Well, I kind of am too, but like only on my hair.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, and in my house too. I was talking about this the other day. It's like I like to paint everything black, but everything is super colorful.
Screwdrivers that I have in production right now.
Oh.
It's a rainbow metal and glitter clear. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, you do rainbow, all the things. But see, I like that stuff too. It's just like not my. I'm just more like morose.
Yeah, I was
just like in general.
Like outward aesthetic.
Yeah, so I wear a lot of black and I cuss a lot and stuff like that. But I do like pretty things.
Yeah, no, I joke that I'm like dead inside because like I don't feel colorful inside, but I like colorful things.
Well, it's like you got to trick yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You're like, no, see, you like this stuff. Let's see. Somebody, Teresa said, just wanted to say thank you. I made 5 of those snack pack mini backpacks following your videos. It was amazingly easy. Thanks to you. Oh, well, you are very welcome. The snack packs are fun. They're so cute. They're so tiny. I just like tiny things. Stacy said she has the same machine as me, but she doesn't use Tech 70. What size needles do I use? I use this size 18, but I've gotten away with the size 16 with Tech 70 as well. I like Tech's 45, but I really love how obvious the stitches are. Even when it's on the same color, you can really see the Tech 70 stick out so much. So I love that. But it's confident, and it's like confidence building too, because you learn to sew straighter and more, I don't know.
Like your stitches are very defined, so you can't fuck it up.
Yeah, you got to really pay attention.
You're not allowed to, I should say.
And then where do I get the craft techs? So I just Google and wherever it's the cheapest, honestly. It normally comes in like packs. Maybe it's a yard, maybe it's a half yard. I'm not really sure, but lots and lots of people sell it, but it's KRAFTEX. Oh, yep. There you go. Karen just pulled up with a
2,
spelling.
3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 7 card slots? Am I?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7 card slots.
Okay. Okay.
You're doing your, yep, perfect. Okay. Yep, so add your double stick tape, and then what you're going to do is with the card slots closer to you on the panel, you're going to lift up and fold until you meet up with the second. So here's the top, and you have the first card line, or the first mark, second mark. You're going to line up the bottom of your panel on that second mark. And finger press. Got it? And so this is where things can get squirrely if you didn't mark correctly. But actually, before you tape, let me see yours, because I just remembered this is the side that yours was a ½ inch short.
Yeah, and like it's a little bit wonky, I think. Let me see. So it's 17 on this side. And 17¼ on the other side. So maybe I'll take it to my cutting table and like square up this.
Yes. Yeah. Just pull it to 17.
Okay. Okay. I can do that. So it should be 17 by 7½.
Yes, yours.
Yes.
Because it, yeah. And then, so I think what we're going to do for yours to make sure that everything lays correctly is whenever you're folding up to that second line, you probably need to measure a ½ inch below that second line to create your new fold line.
Okay. All right, so I've got my snap markings, 1 line, a second line. So I want to lower that second line by ½ inch.
I think so, yeah. And this is going to be, we're going to troubleshoot this together because I'm not sure, but just thinking through the pattern, I think that that'll make it correct. Because the thing that we're paying attention to is how deep of a fold we have here next to our card slots, because you don't want it to be super close.
Yeah, this is super close, so maybe ½ inch up.
Yep, exactly. I think that'll give you the right
distance.
Yeah. Let me measure.
What is the distance I want on
3/8 or thereabouts? You know, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so it was like I needed 1/4 inch on in.
Not the ½ inch. Okay.
And that makes it 3/8.
Perfect. And then we'll just stitch across there like we did before.
Okay. My card slots are a little crooked, but they'll still work.
Yeah, and I think if you like wanted to, yeah, it sounds like maybe, whoa, crooked like this camera. Drizzy, don't drink my water. It sounds like the vinyl shifted when it was being cut.
That or the cut mat did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always weary about cutting if I'm not like really paying attention to it because mine shift a lot.
Yeah. And I use the Pro, so it's this 24-inch cut mat by 24. So anything could have happened.
Wow, 24 by 24? Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted it. Like, I could cut out a full bag. But pros and cons to everything.
Yep. And those cutting machines, they're really great, but you really have to spend a lot of time learning how to use them. Look, like my scan and cut, I don't even use I don't use the scan feature.
Right.
All right, Jersey honey, I love you, but you got to go. Here, give me a hug. Okay, whoa. So just let me know whenever you're caught up.
I think I'm caught up. I was just gonna sew down my little label, but I'm here
perfect.
for what's next.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sew that down. Get that out of the way.
Someone said, "Are you related to Kayla? You remind me of each other." No.
Who?
You.
Me?
Kayla.
Oh, it's probably just the green hair.
I was just gonna say that.
Linda said Sewgnar checked way back for Tech 70. Is it poly or nylon? It is. You're asking me questions I don't know. Let me just pull up what I ordered. Saya Swag has really great thread too.
Yeah.
Hers are really nice. Okay, that's nylon bonded thread Tech 70 is what I got.
She will be a vendor at Tennessee as well.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I can't keep track. All these gatherings, I'm just like, yeah, I'm there. I'll be there.
I'll be there. I don't know who else is going, but I'll be there. Yeah, there's I think there's 40 vendors. Which
Wow.
is the most she's ever had.
Gosh, even more than Florida?
Yeah.
Wow, and Florida was big.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
Crazy. Okay, so now this is what your panel should look like. I just added some tape. Act like you don't see that. But what we're going to do is angle you down. So I lay my card slots face down.
Okay.
And then you're going to pick up the back again. And you're going to fold and line up these lines to the first line here. So, okay. So this is the bottom here. Sorry if this is getting confusing. But so from the bottom, you have 1 and 2, and these are your marks that are really close together.
Yep.
So you're going to take the mark that whenever you lift up, you're going to expose marks on this folded section here. You see these marks right here? And you're going to lay them on that second fold. Sorry, that just got super convoluted. But this is what it's going to look like from the back. So you're going to have one mark showing, and then you're going to line up on that second mark there. Let me look on the computer. Show me again.
Okay. Yep. One mark there, and then that's my second mark.
Yes.
Okay.
And so then that's where you're going to create your crease, your finger press, and then we'll double stick tape it into place or clip it, glue it. And so what that fold just did was created the second cash slot.
Okay. So how deep should that be? Like just as a foolproof check.
What did I do? Okay.
Mine's 3.5.
So I have 3. So this
Okay.
is where things might get a little squirrely too because of that 1/2 inch differentiation.
Okay.
So we'll say, so here's do you have your, the notes like zipper, flap? Do you have any of that written?
No, but I have the pattern pieces in front of me.
Okay. So before it's taped and it's looking like this.
Yes.
And we've just got the card slots. So this long section is actually the top. Oops. This long section is actually what will be at the top. And then this little short section is the bottom. So you want there to be 3.5 on mine. So it'd probably be 3 on yours because of that 1/2 inch.
Okay. I have 3.5. Now that I've made this 3 inches.
Now you have 3.5.
Now I have 3.5.
Okay, so just to double check though, you're gonna want to measure your other panel and make sure that you also have 3.5 there.
3.5 on the zipper.
Yep, on what
Okay.
would be the zipper side.
I do.
Okay, perfect. So now that means that your zipper is gonna be not wonky. My
Great.
phone just told me that it's getting low. Let me grab a charger real quick.
Okay. So I have all of my like threads dangling loose. I'm probably gonna want to cut out liner for the zipper pocket. Yeah.
I mean, you can tuck your threads into the inside of the panel, and
Yeah.
then they won't be able to be seen. Or you can add a liner.
Okay. I'm gonna go cut out a liner super quick.
Okay.
It'll take 2 seconds. Just because that's not cute. Let's see.
Sorry, I was going to look for a phone charger. Did you say something to me as I was walking out?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right, so we've got a couple comments. Are you using the Tech 70 in the bobbin too? Yes, I'm using it in the bobbin. No, I did not make any adjustments. I don't mess with my tension unless, oh, what? Sorry, my phone. I don't mess with my tension at all unless I absolutely have to, but I tend not to. So yeah, I always match my bobbin thread to my top thread. Otherwise, there'll be a tension war, and I don't want one to be pulling too hard on the other. And then Teresa said, Wayback has some really great charts. One shows text weight, other thread conversion, and one shows recommended needle size. Yeah, and honestly, I'm new to this bigger thread situation, and so I'm just doing trial and error. Lauren is much better, or has a lot more experience with it, or Saya can probably help with that, but I feel like just thinking it through, thicker thread, you're going to need a bigger needle eye, so thicker needle.
Smart. I'm not great with thread either. I just know what I like and what I don't like.
And that's kind of where I'm getting to. Like I have a bunch of Tex 45 and I'm going to use it because I have it. But from here on out, I'll just be getting Tex 70 just because I like the weight of it better. Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we add our zipper, because when we add our zipper, we're going to be connecting these two pieces to create the big panel. So before we do that, we want to add our D-ring situation.
Just looking at that, wondering when that. Okay.
And so if you look on the back of this big panel that we're working on, you'll see the marks that we made. Yep. And you see so flip it. Yep. That's the flap. That's the top flap now.
Okay. So
those two marks, it should be 1 inch apart. That is where we're going to be adding our D-ring attachment. Sweet. So if you want to, you can transfer those marks to the front side so that you can visually see where it's going, or you can lay, a ruler.
Yeah, I'm going to lay a ruler down. And that's 3 inches?
That is 3.25 to that first one. And then, so this is where if you use 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, this is where just having these measurements or having rulers laid out will become helpful because you just want to center this within those two marks. And so, yeah, you're just going to center it. Did I freeze? Okay, there we go.
Are we folding the short raw edges into the center? Or are we folding them under by a certain inchage?
I'm sure that there's a measurement in the pattern, but what I like to do is just put them on and I'll fold one edge and tape or glue it into place. And then I lay it on my panel and I see how much more I need to fold it on the other side.
I love it. So what do we want the finished size to be?
I generally like my D-rings to lay about 1/8 of an inch to the inside. So when you're looking at it, you've got the circular part, the angled part. Some of my fingers are so fat. but an eighth of an inch on both sides.
Okay.
I
might make mine a tiny bit. My D-rings are a little thick.
Yeah, and see, that's why I'm like, it doesn't, you just gotta
eyeball it.
Yeah, just go with it.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so this will get laid down at that 3 1/4.
Well, you're going to center it between the two marks. So it's not necessarily going to lay right at that 3.25.
Okay.
It's like for how structured my patterns are, I'm pretty loosey-goosey. I'm like, oh, yeah, just as long as your edges meet up, I don't really care how you get to the destination.
No, that's fair.
For me, it's not about the journey.
So right now, my D-ring connector is about 1/2 inch from the edge of my card slots. Does that seem accurate?
Yeah, and what size D-rings are you using?
1/2 inch.
Yes, because I'm probably about 5/16, but I'm. Yes. Now, are you in between your two marks?
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're in between there, that's all that matters.
Okay, great.
So something that is not in the pattern that I just started doing recently, because it just dawned on me that I could do this, is I take a piece of the stabilizer, the 0.75 width, and I put it along the back.
Okay.
In between those marks, and then when we're stitching this down, we're going to be stitching that into place
through the stabilizer. Great, I love that.
And then it makes it like super duper stable,
sturdy. Yeah, that would also be a really cute place for a woven label underneath that D-ring connector. Just saying.
Yeah, I think that would be a good spot. The only thing is that that's where the top fold will be.
Oh, true. So you don't want anything too.
Which I don't think that a woven label would really like get in the way of it, but it might crease the label over time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Susan said, I have the same machine as you, and I bought extra bobbin cases. I adjusted the tension on one. Oh, that's smart. I just kind of go for it with everything. I heard with Tech 70 you can't use thread cutter. I do not suggest it. Your machine will tell you immediately it does not like it. Stacy said, my 2010 doesn't like the thicker thread in both top and bobbin. I ran into issues, trial and error. That's interesting, Stacy. When I was first starting to use it, there was definitely a big learning curve, but I think that's why I go with the thicker needle and then the longer stitch length, and I don't use my thread cutter. And I found that combo to work on my particular machine, but one thing I've learned about this Juki is that it's sensitive.
Okay, I have that sewn into place.
All right. So now, let's install our magnetic snap so that way we don't forget to do it, because I will forget.
Do you have a preference of which one gets male innie or outie?
Yep. So on this panel that we're working on, I like to do outie.
Outie. Okay.
Because again, so this piece here is the top inside flap.
Okay, yeah. And then we put stabilizer over this section.
Yep. So you don't have to add any because it'll be covered in a little bit. And then while I've got my snaps out, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my exterior as well.
And then do you fold your magnetic pieces in or out?
I fold out so that way they lay flatter. I know that can be a contentious debate.
I'm always so curious. I do it both ways. It just depends on what I feel like doing.
Yeah, if it's a piece that you're not going to really feel the back, I'll sometimes fold them in on each other, but most of the time I'm putting them on like snap tabs or anything like that, and it's really thin. There's only one layer of cork along the back, so it leaves a huge hump.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to do them facing out just because it makes it much flatter. Okay, so now we are to the zipper pouch construction.
Yay.
We are cruising right along.
Oh, wait, you installed your other pieces.
Yep, I went ahead and installed them on the exterior if you want to go ahead and do that. I'm going to close my door because I can hear the dogs getting riled up for some reason.
Got it. So we don't. I'm also really sorry if you're a little bit like, come on.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm in a low energy mood, so this is perfect.
Just like a go with the flow, whatever it is, it is.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So Stacy said, I think I need to play with the tension more on my thicker thread. It's just scary because she's my baby and I also quilt. Yeah, I've gotten myself into real pickles messing with my tension, so I try not to at all. I will say recently I was using the variegated rainbow thread and I had to mess with my tension a little bit, and it's not 100% again. It's like I wasn't able to get it back to homeostasis, but it's looking a little better now. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was about that thread specifically, but with that one I kind of had some issues. So I mean, of course it's a work in progress, but yeah, playing with tension is scary.
So scary.
I just don't do it if I can avoid it.
I find it a little overwhelming too. I'm just like, I don't know, so I'm just not going to.
Yeah, if I mess with it, it's like incremental. But the other day when I was working on the rainbow, it obviously needed to be adjusted. And then now, like I said, I just can't really get back. And I know like if it's messed up on the top, then that means it's the bobbin thread. But yeah, I haven't really messed with it too much. And it seems like it's evening back out. We'll see. It's fine. Somebody asked for a close-up of the bag text. So yeah, I got these fancy schmancy guys.
They look so good.
They're rather large, so I'm interested to see what it looks like on the back of a Triskelle, but it looks good. I made this NCW. I think it looks cute on there.
So good.
And then I've been adding it to my bags, and I think they look cute, but obviously it's not going to work for like men's wallets. Definitely not going to be putting these on that.
They might like it. You never know.
They're just so big, and
yeah,
I'm not giving it to the men's.
That's fair. Okay.
All right. So now you're going to grab. So just a quick overview of where we're at. So we have our completed top panel here. So it's got the magnetic snaps and our D-ring connector.
Yep.
And so this is the orientation. So that is here.
What is the total height of that piece at the moment for you, if you don't mind me asking?
11.5.
Okay, mine is 11.
That's fine, because that just means that your zipper pouch will just be shorter.
Great.
And then we have this other section here, the bottom section. And so our card slots on that side are going toward the bottom.
And your finished height on that one is?
7.
Mine too. So I need it to be 6.5.
So we want for yours this section here below the card slots, you want that to be the same height as this section below the card slots. So whatever that measurement is, you want that to be the same.
They are even.
Okay, so then I would not mess with that.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start at the top with my top section, and I like my zippers to open from the left side because I'm a righty. So, but you can decide if you want your zipper to open from the right side, totally up to you. But so I work with my top section, and then what I'm gonna do is this is gonna be a raw edge here. So I'm gonna add glue or tape along the back side, and then I'm gonna tape it just along my zipper tape.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
I also want to add a thin coat of Mod Podge. I forgot to do this section.
Got that. And then for your cotton piece, do you then fold that down?
So for the cotton, I kind of do it. So I don't like to top stitch my linings, and I don't do it on my wallets either.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I explain to do it is like this.
You're like, where do you just read the pattern, Lauren? No, I'm kidding.
Why would you do that? All right, so let me just get this glued.
Okay. Rhonda said she loves the green you're using. Is that one from Fabric Funhouse?
It is. This is olive.
So good.
It's very monochromatic. So normally I would do like a pop of color, but today I said we're going green. Okay, so once your glue sets up or your tape, then I flip. So I've got my zipper tape exposed. And the way that I lay this out is I actually lay it, the long raw edge, I lay on the raw edge of the zipper tape, but I lay it to where it's facing away.
Okay. Yep. Because then you'll top stitch and then fold it down.
Exactly. And then I won't have to worry about top stitching the actual lining, and it'll just be it'll lay really nice inside.
Cool. All right.
So yeah, now we're going to top stitch just along that whole raw edge on the front side of the panel. I don't know what I would ever do once I get my industrial going. It's like I'm so bad about just like I trim all my threads and all my trash and I just shove it underneath my plate or whatever this is. I don't know.
The table.
Yeah, it's like a little trash can under there.
All right.
Okay, yep. So then I like to glue or tape this down so that it stays put.
Okay. I'll use glue too. I want to be like Nicole.
Okay. Yes, see, it's really weird. I don't know why. I think this is just like an old habit of using glue on this. And so I'd like to pull it nice and taut too, so that it's not going to shift around.
Ooh. Smells good. Okay.
And then, yeah, you're going to flip it right side up, and then you're going to repeat that same process on the other side of the zipper too.
That's the cutest little zipper. Okay. So I've got my lining pieces right sides together.
Mm-hmm.
And the raw edge of my lining lined up with the raw edge of my zipper tape.
Yep.
And then we'll flip it to top stitch and then fold it out of the way, tape it down.
Yep, exactly.
Just wanted to give it some words too.
Oh yeah, do we need to talk about the class passes?
Oh yeah, oh my god. So there's a pinned link, I think, to, I might have it still copy and pasted. I can't add a comment there. But we have a Google Doc for, you can enter to win a no class pass to Tennessee. So it's just a little $12 value. You pick the day you want to come. But if you're already going and a friend wants to go, you could do that too. And there is a little, like, we may use your email for promotional purposes, but you could always unsubscribe to any emails. Just throwing it out there. So you can enter through the Google Doc.
So the link is going to be on Lauren's video, not mine, just because I didn't update my caption.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me see if I can find that link again.
Yeah, let me see. I can probably.
I'll scroll up to the top. It should be there. Oh, I don't think I can go that far. I found it. I got it.
All of my electronics are dying. What's going on here?
Going to YouTube. All right, there's the link. Okay.
Okay, you got it added.
Yes.
Where did you add it to?
I commented on my video.
Okay, I'll add it to my video too.
I can find it. I can find it.
Yeah, it's like not letting me. It says the link is too long.
Mm.
That's weird. Well, that'll be so fun too. I think something like this is super nice because then if people want to come, oh, I found it. I just tossed it in the chat too. If they want to come but they're not sure, like if it's something that they'll be into or if they're overwhelmed with the idea of the expo but want to check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can come shop with the vendors too.
Yeah, because there's so many incredible vendors. And then Sunny Sewing is also going to be there, and they are bringing industrials that you can pick up to purchase as well. Like,
oh gosh,
take it home with you. They don't want to take it home. You know what I mean?
Come spend your life savings at So Magical Expo.
Pretty much, yeah. No.
Give us all your money.
Support small businesses.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
All right, so we've got one long panel now. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold and expose our zipper at the top. And you want to line up your side seams. Now, the goal here is these card slots, you want these to be equal with your, when you fold, you want them to be as equal as possible.
Okay.
And so you're going to clip your sides here.
Holy crap. Like, mine really is.
Yeah. Good
How?
job. You know, just, I did a lot of math.
But yeah, that measurement being off, though.
That's because we took off that ½ inch. I knew that it would kind of shake out in the wash, but.
I didn't cut anything.
Oh, you didn't have to actually. Oh, hey. You know.
I know. That's why I'm like, okay.
But you evened it out. Remember, it was 17¼
Yeah.
So just that should be good.
Yep. So these are my card slots.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to sew around here, and that's going to create our zipper pouch. But you don't want to sew all the way to these,
right.
To that. Spot. You're going to sew about ½ inch above those folds. Okay. And so I just mark it with chalk.
So ½ inch above the bulk, basically.
Yes. And then, of course, you want to make sure that all of your sides are lining up properly and that everything is nice and straight.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. Yep.
And then because I angled, what's that?
I was just going to mention your angles.
Yep. Because I angled my other slots, I went ahead and cut off my little corners there. And then so you're going to start your stitching at the top, come down all the way across, and come back up.
And then you do 1/8 of an inch.
Yep.
I was over here about to do like 1/4 for some reason. I'm truly over here like, I'm doing it.
Yay! Very exciting. And we're almost done.
Yeah. I'm so excited. It looks so good.
Yeah, these are fun. And now you can like really see the shape.
Yeah.
Coming together. Like if you fold all your pieces up like this, like that's exactly the shape of the wallet. Jersey, honey, please. Oh my gosh.
Did you drop kick me?
That was Jersey. She pulled you over. She's been like extra salty recently. I don't know what her deal is, but she's just like messing with stuff and chewing on wires, and she'll like come tearing in here and jump up onto the table, but I'll have a bunch of cut stuff on the table, so she'll slide across the table on it, and then she just like wreaks havoc, and then she goes and lays down. Like, what are you doing?
And I take my leave.
She's a nut job. All right, so once we get to here, oops. Watch out, Lizzie. And then I'll try to kick her out and she'll just stand at the door and meow. So it's not even worth it.
Okay.
All right.
So you're on the back side.
Yep. So I've got it on the back side, and then the way that it's laid out, I just try to finger press, get everything nice and flat, or as flat as possible. And then this is where we're going to add our stabilizers.
So your finished size of your piece right now is 12 1/4, huh? 12 1/2.
Yep, it's about 12 3/8 technically. But if you push down, if you add some weight onto this middle section, you'll see that it pushes it out.
Okay.
And I'm definitely at 12 1/2. Come again?
Mine is 12.
Yours is 12. Okay, that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll work that in on the exterior.
And take it off of the side without the magnetic snaps.
Probably. Maybe. You'll see. Okay. So if you lay it on your exterior right now, you can get an idea.
Yeah, maybe I can like split the difference.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest doing.
And it'll line up still. Okay.
I knew we were going to run into a problem somewhere with that 1/2 inch.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, the only thing to consider when you're manipulating this, if it doesn't quite meet up, just for anybody that might make one in the future too, if you take it all off the top, it's going to make the top flap. It'll change the structure of the wallet. So you do want to try to split the difference when possible so that the actual structure of the wallet doesn't change.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so sorry. You're adding your stabilizer.
Do what?
You are adding stabilizer now, correct?
Yep. So you'll see there are 2 pieces that are the same width and then one that's a little bit wider. The one that's wider goes in the big back section here. And then the 2 skinnier ones go on the top and bottom. And then glue, tape, whatever you want to use here.
I might be missing one. I might have to go cut. I have a big one and a slightly smaller one, and then I have 2 little ones.
Yep. So you are missing, you need one more of that one. Yep.
Okay. Hold, please. I must have just transposed which one needed more.
Well, and on the cut list, it says 1, 2, and 3, but a lot of times that gets missed. Even by me.
Fair.
And so now, because I am doing the angles, you want to be sure if you're doing angles or whoever, when you're making it, that you cut your angles in your craft text as well, or in your stabilizer.
Yeah.
Otherwise it gets really bulky.
Okay. And then it should be like 1/8 of an inch.
From the top, yes. So you'll see I have about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a touch over 1/8 of an inch, because I want my stitching to be next to it, but not on top of it. And then same thing here. You want there to just be a slight gap. It doesn't have to be anything that you measure, but you want it to, because this is where it's going to fold. So you just need there to be a gap.
And you have a video for this in your Patreon, correct?
Yeah, I've got one on my Patreon, but there's also a video included with the pattern.
Okay, that's right.
It's just a private video, but now that we're doing this, I'll consider.
Okay, because I remember us mentioning that when we planned this, in like December,
Yeah.
January. God.
In a while.
Oh gosh. I am using the self-adhesive from Fabric Therapy. This is the I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just called a stabilizer since it's a thicker one. Anyway.
So I've got my mains, you know, but then we need to add along this bottom edge. And this is the part that I try to be really particular about.
Okay.
Because the top edge will just kind of take shape naturally, but this bottom edge kind of makes or breaks the wallet. And if it's off, then your wallet won't stand up on its own, which obviously isn't terrible. But the idea of this wallet is that it's a really nice, boxy, structured situation. And so you should have 2 pieces of the long, skinny ones left.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to stack them, I tape them together. Or in my case, I just cut out one big one and I'm folding it in half.
Oh, okay.
And then I lay that centered along that zipper box bottom seam that we made. And in a perfect world, that should be centered on these 2 marks. You'll see the 2 remaining marks. And it should be centered along those as well, but sometimes it gets a little cattywampus in through here.
Is this going to go over our fold or next to it? Over?
Right on top of the fold, yep.
Right on top of the fold. Okay. Okay. The fold of our card slots or the fold of the...
Oh, where the zipper box seam that we made here, it's going to go right over that along the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then now, once you get that laid out how you like it and how it, you know, when it's kind of holding its shape, when it's all folded, then we'll add tape or glue to the exterior piece.
Almost tempted.
I have a fun video showing where I quilt this too, which so that adds a lot of nice structure as well. So you can like quilt the flap and the bottom section before putting the 2 pieces all together. And that's a fun addition as well.
I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah, it's on my channel. That's a public video.
Yeah. So if someone doesn't have Craftex, the Craftex, would you recommend Decaville Light for this?
I would probably go with Decaville Heavy.
Okay. So you would add 2 layers of heavy there then.
Yeah, or Peltex even, but Peltex is almost a little too soft for my liking. But again, this wallet, it doesn't have to be that structured. So really it's up to whoever. But you do, especially on the top and the bottom, you want something that's going to be a little bit thicker or more stable because that's what'll give it that shape.
Okay, cool.
And then so when I start to lay this panel onto my exterior, I start at the flap side, but you might want to visually, you know, check yours out and make sure that you can split the difference on yours.
Okay. Like it's together. It's so cool. Oh, make sure your snaps are on opposite sides.
Yes. Yep. Make sure they're laid out correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think splitting the difference is going to be the winning ticket here, but I will clip first.
Just to see. Well, see, that's the thing too, because once you get it laid out and you kind of put some pressure on the zipper box area, you'll see that it can kind of shake itself out. So
yeah. And like this, I feel like this pattern truly is incredible. Like a mastermind of pattern pieces.
oh, thanks. Yeah, it took me a while, but
yeah,
I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
Druzy Ben came here to see you. You need to have like an arranged marriage.
Well, maybe not splitting the difference.
No? What's it doing?
Like, this is angled where my connector is. So that's with me splitting the difference. I'll try lining up just the bottom and maybe trimming off the top because my magnetic snaps aren't going to be off. Well, I don't know.
And so you can try, like when you have it clipped together, you can like kind of maneuver it, start manipulating it, folding it, and pressing into your edges and see where it's trying to take from and give from. Yeah. And then you'll be able to take it out of that. Because mine isn't lining up 100% either.
And then you got to take into account like when it's all done.
Yeah, when it's folded.
It's going to be different too.
And it not being stitched right now, it allows a lot of like bubbles and imperfections to show. But once you stitch it down and you just kind of like manhandle it for a little bit, it settles in. Yeah.
It's just so weird because, yeah, like when it's folded, everything's fitting together. Like I could line up the edges, but those bubbles have to go away.
Well, and when it's flat, they do go away, but so I
don't know. I don't know where to take from, truly.
I can't really see it. Here, put it up to the camera. I'm going to look on my computer.
Like, that's with all the edges lined up. The squares fit, but they shouldn't line up because they're half an inch off. But
so I wonder
what's happening down here.
I wonder too, because you're not using like super stiff, it's not going to give you that sharp edge. Mm-hmm. And it might just be more slightly rounded. When I first, I think I have my very first one I ever made, and it turned out like that. Oh, here's the first one. I sewed it straight down too. This was the very first Triskelle that I made forever ago. You can see it slightly different layout, but you know, it's not really going to change it overall. Yeah. And what you'll do is you'll just stitch a little closer and it'll give it that V shape. Or if you want to, when you're stitching it, you can do several, like 2 lines of stitching here on the outside of the zipper box, and that might give it more of a base. Or if you have something like a thick stabilizer or stiffer stabilizer, you can just slide it in right underneath that bottom section.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to commit to
Druzy. They're like both just all up in the way.
Yeah. I also want to disclose, in case anybody missed the beginning, this is not a pattern issue that we're trying to figure out. It's a cutting issue of my error. That things aren't lining up. The pattern is perfect. Hi, I'm the problem. Someone said, how do we sign up for So Magical? Well, their website has tons of information on all the different classes available.
Someone said cats are just lovable jerks. Yes, that is accurate. Mary said, I love the cork and vinyl. Thank you. All right, so once you commit, what are you mulling?
Where to cut still.
Start.
I feel like just trim from each side, even it out.
So what I would do is start clipping or lay it at the flap. Lay that part out first and clip all around there and work your way down. Because in my experience, and it kind of seems like it might be happening on yours too, whenever I've had issues with my two panels lining up, this top will just go at kind of an angle like this instead of like this.
Mm-hmm.
But so if you start at the very top and kind of push and manipulate and pull on it, and it really might just be that your interfacing is too soft.
It could be.
But yeah, so when you fold it, you do want to get kind of a semblance of what it's going to look like. And you can see I have a little bubble right there too, but that'll come out whenever I'm sewing it.
Yeah.
Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take it off the side with the magnetic snaps because if anything else, the flap will just be a little bit higher up, like you said, at an angle, which will leave room for more stuff.
Yeah, and so what that'll do too is it'll keep the integrity of the bottom and it'll just kind of change the shape of the top. I've made several like that. That's what I'm saying. This step of the pattern is the most challenging to get everything to lay correctly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, so what I like to do is this whole section here gets stitched all the way around, and then you flip the zipper up, and then you stitch around this whole section. I generally stitch, so you see where the folds are for the card slots. I stitch just past those card slots. But I have noticed if you don't stitch really, really close to the zipper box, what can happen is when you're edge coating, it'll leave a big gap. So that can be kind of another challenge. So you can stitch all the way up to it and then across, or you can stitch just off the card slot lines. In your case, I might suggest doing both stitch lines because it'll add a little bit of structure to that bottom.
That's kind of what I was thinking I was going to do. Okay, cool.
Just watch out for your magnetic snaps because they'll get caught.
Yeah.
On your way around.
Start going. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm just going to, there was nothing to say. I had nothing. So I'm sewing with my foot right up against the zipper pocket.
Yep, that's what I'm sewing. That's how I'm doing as well.
Okay, cool. Oh, it looks so good.
Okay.
Do you ever back stitch at your corners and like where your card, your wallet?
Yes,
your
the stress
block?
points. Yep,
Yes.
I always add extra stitches at the stress points.
Okay. So if you didn't angle the rest of your wallet, would you still angle the flap or do you think it would look weird?
I don't think it would look weird, but generally I pick one or the other.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just one of my favorite parts about the wallet. So I might angle my flaps.
Do it.
But I see what you mean. But I could still angle. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I usually just pick one, but I don't think it really matters.
Okay. So when you angle at a quarter of an inch, or I'm sorry, a half an inch. How do you, like, if I were to lay my 1 inch ruler, I would lay the corner at the half an inch and then center the 1 inch spot?
Yeah, you could do it that way, or really what I do is on my cutting mat, I lay my corner on the two measurements where it's straight, and then I eyeball it from halfway to halfway. But yeah, you can do it the other way that you described as well.
Because it's natural for you, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I would probably just mark it then, you know, measure it and mark it first and make sure that that's how I want it before slicing into the vinyl.
So I've measured it out and then I'm sewing it, but then I'll rotary cut it at the cutting table.
Perfect.
Oh, this is looking so good. So then I'm gonna sew down across some of my stitching, and then next, like 3/8 of an inch from the line at the zipper box. At the
Or
zipper box.
maybe even just a 1/4 of an inch. You could do 3/8 because if you do 3/8, then that'll give you a 1 inch bottom, which
Okay.
is essentially what it should be. But you could also just do a 1/4 inch from that.
Okay, I'll do a 1/4. It feels
Yeah, because then it'll end up being 3/8 total. Yeah, do a 1/4.
cool. Cool. So here is this side for me.
Okay. Looks good. Perfect.
Yeah, I would say my stabilizer choice probably wasn't the best, especially with the 2 layers at the bottom because it's kind of puffy. But
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be cute once it's all put together.
Yeah. You live and you learn.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you get loves.
Here's the old well.
Go. Thank you.
Go on, Susie.
Jaffa just came in to say hello. Hey, Ben. Yay. It's always the test when it stands up on its own.
And do you do 2 lines of stitching at the bottom on that side then too?
If I was doing it on one side, I would do it on the other because what's going to happen is when you fold it and you see the bottom, then that way it'll have the same amount of stitch lines on either. I didn't have to do that because I'm using Craft Text. So I just sewed the 2 lines.
Okay.
It's so funny to see the genesis of a pattern like this original Triskelle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty similar, but vastly different, like totally different flap.
Both are good, just very different.
Yes, very different.
Okay, I'm gonna go rotary cut mine. Well, there's nothing left to sew, is there?
Nope, no, we're done sewing. Yep, so at this point you would just trim. Like I have some weird overhang excess here, so I would just go around and trim, burn all my threads, and then you would start the process of finishing the edges.
Awesome. I'm gonna move over to the cutting table then so we can edge sew.
Okay.
Woo! God damn it, I'm so stupid. my tea everywhere.
Oh, I thought I heard a curse word back there, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Better tea than coffee.
So true. I did have honey in it, but it's fine.
Oh gosh.
I think I'm so used to my water bottle that like doesn't spill.
Yeah, I can't find, I was looking for my water bottle earlier too, because otherwise Druzy will just drink out of my cups, and because we're live, I don't want to yell at her in public. But I totally saw her drinking out of it earlier, so. Oh, I can at least water my plant with it now. But yeah, I always kind of live on the edge, and I have a coffee cup in here pretty much all the time. Somebody said, can you piece large scraps of cork to make the pattern size? I think you probably could. You would just want to be aware of how bulky the seams are. And I would probably do the exterior if I was going to piece anything, because you need a really nice flat piece for your card slots. Mary said the cutting issue is something I could experience, so I appreciate this live to help problem solve issues. Yeah, and I mean, it's my pattern and I still incorrectly cut them. I will say, if this is a pattern that you like and it's something that you're considering making a lot of, the acrylic templates are huge. I mean, they make such a difference, and they have all of the cut marks and all of that on it. And then there's just no possibility of messing it up. But I know a lot of people use cutting machines because they don't like to cut straight lines. So I also have the SVG files. Let's see. Christine said, I want to see your dog. Okay, let's see. Joppa. Joppies, come here. Look, they want to see you. Oh, where are you going? Come over here. Right here. Here's both of the doggies. There's Joppa. He's the white one. And then Clemmy. She's the brindle.
Aww.
Joppa doesn't really hang out in the studio very often. He only comes in here if he wants something. So he obviously wants something because he came in a few minutes ago. But Clemmy's my little buddy. She'll sleep under the table. Finishing the edges is where I need more practice. It takes skill to paint the raw edge. Nancy, yes, it does. It just takes a lot of practice. But once you get it, or once you have,
Master.
yeah, you get better.
Okay.
How'd yours go? How's your layout?
It's pretty good. This is a little wonky down there.
It's not bad.
It's fine.
Did it add structure to it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think again, it's just that.
Yeah. So I guess in the future, the other way to fix that would be to move your magnetic snaps.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
On the inside flap.
Oh,
that's not bad.
Well, if you moved them on the outside, well, then I guess, is it too low?
Well, I mean, either way, whichever one would be easier, you could try moving the magnetic snaps, and then it could help that top shape stay flat.
Yeah, and the Craft X or Deck of the Light definitely is a smarter choice than the self-adhesive, because like it's just super soft, but once it's full of stuff, it'll be better.
Yeah. Hey, could you stop? And it's your first one.
Yeah.
The first ones of anything are not perfect, so.
Yeah. I'm really happy with it though. Like, it's so cute.
Yeah, they're fun to make.
Yeah, we've got the card slots in opposite directions.
And look, so yours is not backwards. Remember, we thought that your orientation was going to be different, and it's not. So this was just full of surprises.
Yeah. It's so cute.
It is cute. And then I always like to test my card slots before sending anything out. Obviously, it's always a good thing to do. I have caught, I mean, it's usually better to test your card slots before you finish sewing the entire wallet, but
yeah.
That way you can catch any mistakes.
I think this is good though. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like I could make another one. I'd probably watch this video though.
Yep, or the one included in the actual pattern is probably a little bit more concise.
That's fair. Okay.
But then you gotta attach your strap.
Oh yeah.
Because it's already done. Yeah, so I made an NCW with a crossbody strap, which I hadn't done before, but I really think that the Triskelle with the crossbody strap will be super cute. This is the one that I did with the variegated thread on black cork. It came out really good. But I did the crossbody strap on it, and I think because the Triskelle was my response to the NCW, I wanted to make a wallet that had a lot of capacity but not a lot of cork. And so this was what I came up with. But I think that it would have the same idea if you did a crossbody strap.
Yeah. And I don't think this looks bad. Like, I think it's fine.
I've made a lot like that. And that's the good thing, too, about sewing all of our own stuff is most people don't know who the pattern is.
Yeah, they don't know what the original was supposed to look like. That's very true.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're going to edge coat yours?
I will edge coat mine. Obviously, it adds so much time, but we can do at least one coat. And I guess if folks have questions about anything.
While that's drying. So I'm using the base coat dense. Or do you use Mod Podge?
So I've been playing with Mod Podge as my base coat and it works. But what I'm realizing the big difference is because it dries hard and it's not that soft plastic, that it's harder to get a really nice edge.
Okay.
But my Giardini base coat is in desperate need of being replaced, so it's like super chunky and gross.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll do like a couple coats of Mod Podge and then I'll come back with a coat of base coat to give it that soft edge. Yeah, I've just been like really playing with a lot of different color or combinations.
And have you tried the Mojo Sews edge coat or no?
I haven't. I have some on the way because I'm going to be teaching edge coating in Tennessee.
Nice.
And she is sponsoring it, so she is sending me the kit that we're going to be using, so I get to play with hers.
That's awesome. I have some, and it says best if used by 4 of 2023, so I bought it a year ago, but it seems fine. And I'm wondering if I even need a base coat with it.
Yeah, so I have some of her like neons that she sent me a really long time ago. Yeah. And she didn't send a base coat, so I think
they're fine because I can't get mine open.
Recommend shelf life.
Like, can't get it open.
Yeah, the big difference with hers versus like Giardini is hers are really thick.
Yeah.
So I would think that you wouldn't need a base coat, but honestly, I'm not sure because I know that she makes base coat now. So I don't, but this is like one of her original paints. So I don't know if this one is formulated different because I know that she mixes all of her own.
Yeah. It's so cool.
I know. I love that she does it. I'm really excited to try hers out.
Yeah. And it is small batch in case people watching are like, oh, I want to try it. It's small batch. So like it sells pretty fast.
Yeah. You do kind of got to pay attention when she posts about it.
And then she sold this tool as well. Have you seen this?
Oh, I saw that to hold all the different things. Like that would be helpful for me when I'm edge coating like all of my different wallets.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd she call it? It's like the thingamajig or something like that.
Yeah, but like it could hold this thing while I do it.
Will it hold it like that much weight? I guess we're about to find out.
Split between the clips, I feel like, yeah. And like I could have it hold the D-rings or something. Look at that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'll whenever I'm edge coating, I always save all my edge coating for one day and I'll just spend an entire day edge coating a ton of different things. But I've just got pieces like all over the studio and I have to be really careful with Druzy in here because she'll knock it off, like knock stuff down. And
oh yeah. And then you make sure to take a lighter to all of your edges as well.
Yep, I always burn my edges. And another reason that I like edge coating, and I thought I'd point it out because I just saw this, there was a big gap over here on my piece. And with edge coating, you can fill in those gaps. You just like build it up.
Yeah. Now, would you recommend, like, if you're going to make this project, please edge coat it, basically, or like, hey, that's on you, do what you want?
That's on you. You do what you want.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really start edge coating until the last couple of years, and I have been making cork items for 8 years. So there are lots of pieces, excuse me, out in the world that don't have finished edges. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm just gonna go into it. Are you using a roller, or are you using your finger, or?
So I've got this roller tool. You can see it gets a lot. Oh yeah, we have the same one. 20.
Do you oil yours?
What's that? No.
Do you oil? No. Okay.
No, I didn't even know that they were supposed to be oiled. I think that came up on the cruise or something. And I had never heard of it because I feel like if you oil it, it'll leak the oil. But I could be totally wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
I don't know if it would. But I have oiled mine and it did make a difference.
What does it change?
Like if your roller isn't rolling very well, you just unscrew the very bottom edge and throw some oil in there. And then it'll be nice and rolly again.
I have found that when mine isn't being rolly, if I clean it really well.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Because that was what I noticed. Because I mean, I'll show you in just a second. But mine it's like really, there's a lot of buildup on here from dipping it into paint jars. Yeah. So I've found that if I just like take a blade and slice all that off, a lot of times it's helpful. But it does definitely, it's like a little squeaky, so maybe it does need some oil.
I'd say if what you do works for you, don't change it.
Yeah. Usually I just ignore it until it goes away.
Like all life's problems.
Yeah. That's like being an adult part, right?
That's what I've been doing.
Seeing a problem and avoiding it until it goes away?
Pretty much.
The thing that I like about Mod Podge over Edge Coat is so I tend to put like a decently thick layer on there, especially if I'm trying to fill in any gaps.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Mod Podge dries a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But it is a totally different feel.
Yeah, that's fair. So how long would you give this to dry?
I would keep an eye on it because, you know, it starts out, it's really opaque and then it'll dry clear.
Okay.
I've gotten impatient with it and Mod Podged a second layer or did base coat a second layer on top of a wet first coat. And with base coat, that doesn't work. You'll push the base coat and it'll become all choppy and gross. So you really absolutely have to let base coat dry. Yeah. At least 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how thick you made your coats.
Yeah.
But
how many layers of the base would you do?
I generally do 2 to 3 layers of Giardini base coat, and then I can get away with one, layer of color.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it's a color that I know kind of has weird adhesion or like it settles, when you start playing with edge coats, you'll realize that they'll settle to the outside of the edge, and so then you have to go back and do another coat. So like on my beige color, I know that I have to use 2 coats of color, so I'll just do 2 coats of base coat and then 2 coats of color.
Okay.
The first coat of base coat, all that's going to do is seal all of the imperfections. It's not doing anything to build a base. The reason that you'd use this is because you want to build up a nice rounded base to lay the color on, so that when the color's on there, it's a really pretty seamless edge. But if you don't use enough base coat, or if you just try to do all color, it's going to be very apparent. But with the Mod Podge, you have to use a lot of layers to build it up because it is not formulated to dry and leave a nice edge. So in order to get a nice edge, you have to, I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 coats of Mod Podge. So it's cheaper and it seems to dry a touch quicker, but it's not its intended use. So it takes more effort and overall more time.
Yeah.
So
and then do you sand in between or no?
when I'm doing regular base coat like Giardini, I used to sand between every layer. Now what I tend to do is I'll do 2 coats of base coat and then I'll give a light scuff sanding to take off any like sharp areas or anything like that. The thing with edge coat is it is going to settle into the lowest spot. So if you have an edge that all of your pieces are not even, it's going to automatically fill in that edge and build it up. So I just totally forgot what I was saying.
Sanding.
Oh yeah. So a lot of times I'll kind of goop it onto an area to build up that edge. And sometimes those built up edges will need more sanding to make them even. So it depends on what I'm working on, how poorly of a job I did cutting it, and how much it requires. But generally speaking, I'll do 2 coats of base coat, then I'll sand, and then I'll start on the color. Or if I, after sanding, need to fill in some more imperfections, I'll go back in with a 3rd coat of base coat.
Okay.
But I don't sand in between color coats.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then once your color's on, is that it or is there a finishing?
Giardini offers finishing. They have like sparkles and you could do like copper or silver, all that. You could do a glossy top coat or you could do a matte top coat. I personally don't use top coats. The glossy is like super glossy, very high shine. And I find that the paints dry matte already, so I don't really see a need to add another layer.
And like they hold up super well. This is after 2 years. It's like maybe cracking a little, but 2 years.
Yeah, and it's pink too. So that's the one thing with edge coat that I have noticed is it will last a long time, but the lighter colors will show wear. But you can also, a lot of times you can clean it and the black scuffs and stuff will come off.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I just cleaned a portion of Brandon's wallet yesterday just with soap and water and just left it to see if he noticed. And I mean, of course he didn't, but it's a little bit of soap and water will go a long way on cork. But yeah, so like at this point, you can see mine still is pretty white. It's still opaque. There are some spots that it's dried already, but I would wait until it's all clear and then go back in with the 2nd coat. This section here, I had to fill in a bunch of gaps, so that's going to take the longest to dry.
Gotcha.
What's that?
Someone was asking what base coat.
Oh yeah, the Giardini base coat, and I definitely suggest dense, like you're using.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that they didn't make dense. I don't know why. I can't imagine why you would. Yeah, because a regular base coat, like if it's not dense, I feel like it would take so many more layers to build up.
Mm-hmm.
My roller is so dirty.
I have 2 of them for some reason. I buy a lot of crap. That's like what I have time to do. I can buy
online
stuff.
shopping.
Yeah.
I said, I love listening to both of you ladies work together and analyzing a problem to come up with a solution. Oh, awesome. Good. Sometimes, especially in Sew, we create our own problems. It's like, shit, well, gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Especially because our materials are not cheap.
Right. I also have this tool. I don't know if this would be one you would use.
Oh, that's like the scalpel tool?
Yeah.
I've seen those. I've also seen like wooden dowels being used.
Yeah, I have one of those.
I like the roller. I do have this little guy. It's like the.
Oh yeah.
So
You
this
don't
is
like that?
cool, but I don't use enough of one color. Like all my pieces, they get different colored edge coats.
Yeah.
So I'll put base coat in this, but I haven't found. I don't know. I'm just not great at it, I guess. I don't know. I'm quicker doing it by hand.
Okay.
But it is cool if you're doing like a high volume. It's nice, but it's a lot tinier than I expected, and so it has to be refilled a lot. But if you overfill it, then it spills everywhere, and it's just a mess. And then I accidentally let it dry, and so now it's just not great.
I'm gonna hit this little section with just the color and see what that's like.
Oh yes, a lot of times I paint just that side too. But yeah, you'll see. Try it. You'll see what happens. It'll just soak right in. But you're using Michelle's, right? Mojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hers, it might actually work great.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, so it looks nice and thick.
Yeah. And like, it could also be because I'm using a vinyl that isn't a natural fiber that's like soaking up like cork is.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder.
Or the combo of the two, you know?
Well, yeah, and I'll be able to test that theory once the kit gets here. So I'm excited to see that, compare it. Because like I said, she sent me those. Oh gosh, it was like right when she first got started.
Nice.
And they're just not really colors that I use a whole bunch, which is why I don't.
Yeah, they're
play
not
with them, but
they're more supernatural colors than like natural muted.
Yeah, it would actually. Yeah, they would fit your piece really well.
Right.
Ben's chatty today.
Oh yeah. No, this is him all the time. There are days that it's like Dorothy screaming until she goes to bed, and then it's Ben's turn to scream until I burn the house down.
Yeah, he's like, I've been replaced. Now I have to wait.
Yeah. I'm so impatient when it comes to edge coat. Like I think that's why I don't do it. Because I'm like, okay, let's go. And it's like, nope, gotta wait.
So this is why I'll make, 10, 12, 15 wallets that all need to be edge coated, and I won't do it until one day. And then by the time I get to the end, I can start on the first one again.
Yeah.
And then, you just like watch TV or whatever. And that's a nice like rainy day activity. You don't want to do a lot, but it's actually a really big part of the process.
Yeah. It really does make that big of a difference, which is why I keep buying it. But I don't have production sewing time anymore like I used to. So I'm like, I never get to use all the things.
Yeah. Well, and you don't even really, because you did like the Comic-Con, but you were talking about not doing that again, right?
Yeah, I just don't have time for that and this and that and this and that.
Yeah.
And like even filming days are hard for me because I'm not in the office, like helping with day-to-day things. But they're day-to-day things that I need to be the one that makes decisions on it because it's like my business.
Yeah, are you just like constantly getting hit up all day?
Luckily, no. But there are days for sure. Which is fair. And I tell them, like, please message me if you have questions.
It is really cool that you have such a good team and like dependable and just lovely, responsive human beings. So that must be nice to know that when you just can't do it or you do just want to chill at home, that it's covered.
For sure.
See, now I'm on a Triskelle kick. I'm going to cut out more.
They're so good. What do you charge for your Triskelle? I know about what I paid, but that isn't what your current rate is.
I think it probably is. I charge $92 for Triskelles.
Okay. Mine was a little under, I believe, because I was like, it's that cheap? But I think I tipped at checkout. So, like, I still paid.
Yeah, I feel weird. I feel like it's a certain group of people will say like, oh, that's like not a problem. They get it, the cost. But
Yeah.
then the vast majority of people are like gasp when they see how expensive they are.
And I think it's just a matter of not having that knowledge. Like
exactly. Yeah, and you know, people just don't understand. And if I see people like making faces or whatever, I mean, I'll explain like, oh, it's because I pay $90 or I pay $86 or however much for a roll of cork.
It's so
and then I have to cut and sew it all. So, but most of the time, I don't even explain myself. I just say, oh, yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's not worth it for some customers. And I think that's another thing that I found exhausting with Comic Cons is I had to sell myself to almost every person in the booth, and I'm just like, do you want it or not? Please go away if you don't. Like,
yeah, I'm in some vending Facebook groups, and somebody said that the person vending didn't even stand up to talk to them, and I was like, why? What?
Yeah,
like,
you're not going to make sales that way.
But I mean, I don't really, but I have a director chair where I can see over my table, but I'm so over the whole like, hi, my name's Nicole, and da 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 da. It's people will show interest. If they're interested, they'll show interest or they'll ask a question. I give them a short little elevator speech and say like, hi, I make everything out of cork. Let me know if you have any questions. And then people will ask if they do, and if they don't, they don't. And I just, let it roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm tired. I'm overselling myself too. It's just not fun.
And you've been at it for like what, 8?
Well, I've been at it with cork for 8 years. I've been vending and sewing since 2011, or I've been vending since 2011.
Yeah.
Regularly vending, and then with cork for 8 years. But yeah, selling yourself is, I'm just not, it's just not my steez. I'm barely convinced I'm cool. I don't want to try to convince somebody else.
I feel that in my soul.
Yeah. Like, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. And if you like it, you'll buy it. If not, then cool. Never mind.
Yeah. Then that's fine too. I didn't make it for you. I made it to make myself happy and pay my bills.
Yep. Sometimes being an artist in general is just so soul sucking because you're just constantly trying to figure out what are people going to want to buy and da 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 da.
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes I just want to make.
Yeah. And I noticed you stopped doing custom orders at least as often.
Yeah. So that was like really my bread and butter for a long time.
Yeah.
Or I stopped doing made to order, not custom. So I took everything off my website. But last Christmas, I slowly started integrating my listings back on. But I think I got people out of the habit of buying ready-made stuff. But now people will hit me up and say like, oh, I want a custom bag or I want a custom this. So that's cool because I've got a customs list. That's fun. Yeah. But it's also challenging too. I'm like, well, why did I sign up to make that? I've never made that before.
Yeah.
Like this wallet here, this thing is perplexing me. This lady has a wallet, and so it has 18 card slots. And so they're all like landscape, they're flat card slots. Then it has an ID window. And then these are 2 zipper pouches. Yeah. And I looked at her wallet and I was like, oh, I can make this like no problem. And then I started making it and I'm like, am I psycho? What am I thinking?
Wow.
So yeah, this is now just like on repeat in my head that I need to sit down and figure out.
But it's finding that mental energy that's like so hard.
Yes. To sit and like really yeah. I've got to like force myself to do it.
Yeah. And sometimes it really is just like a matter of body doubling too. Like finding someone to sit with you and figure it out.
Yeah, I've been talking to a friend here locally about coming on, and so I can teach her how to cut all my stuff for me, and then like, package up patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she's just super busy too, so just finding the time to get her in here to train her is a lot, and So then I'll just sit on the couch and not do any of it.
Yep. I feel that. I mean, I would like to do that. I can't do that, but.
Yeah. I think about you a lot when I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing. I'm like, oh, poor Lauren.
I'm sitting on the couch for her.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
We'll sit on the couch for everybody.
Yeah.
Jill said, I know exactly what you're saying. It's hard. My son is very talented and creative, but could never make a living at it. It's very sad. Yeah, it's hard to constantly be on and trying to impress people and at the same time get their money. Or then you have the people that come up and they're like, I can make this. I'm like, cool. I actually sell patterns for them.
Right. So you literally could.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons I started selling supplies so much is like, I have all these ideas, but I don't have enough time. So why don't I sell the ideas to people who might have the time?
Yeah. And it is cool. The pattern design aspect is really nice, but I did not set out to be a pattern designer.
Yeah.
I started sewing because I like to sew. And then I just kind of fell into it. But I do like it. It's a cool aspect of the job, but it's not as easy as I think a lot of people.
No, it's exhausting.
And then like trying to stay relevant, but also not jump on a bandwagon, like, you know, copy people, like making sure that you have a fresh design, like all of that. There's a lot of like research that has to go into it, and even naming patterns now. There's so many pattern designers that I'm like, is this the same name as somebody else's? And
yeah, it's so hard. And like, I think it comes from like what your intentions were too. And that's what's hard is like people be like, that looks just like mine. Like they didn't see that. They don't know. That was not their intention when they released this pattern.
yeah.
You have to know that that's not somebody's intention.
Yeah. And I think too, like kind of how we talked about at the Florida So Magical when we had the designer panel, like I'm not the designer that has a full collection. I'm not like, okay, I need a tote bag or I need this to complete my collection. To me, I'm like, oh, I'm really into making this style bag right now. I wonder if other people will like it too. And so I think that just goes back to what you said. It's just like the intention behind your line and your collection, and if it's your full-time gig or if it's just something that you moonlight in. But yeah, people have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
What coat number are you on?
The number, that was just the color coat. And like, it seems good.
So you put color all around your edges?
Yeah.
I can't see because it's in your little thingamajig.
Sorry. Here we go. I think it's better now.
Oh, okay. There we go. Nice. Oh my gosh, that matches your roses perfectly.
I know. When I saw the color, I was like, well, perfect. Great. Yeah, it's fun.
Awesome.
It's not like the most incredible edge coat job in the world, but like it'll work.
And again, practice. Practice makes better.
I think the corners being cut this way, your way, are way better than just flat. Like I almost wish I'd done it on this bottom edge as well. Like it just adds an element to the design.
Yeah, that's why I always cut the corners. I will say though that if you have a straight across flat throughout, I think that that's like really striking too. Yeah. The thing with doing the angles on the card slots is I don't actually edge coat those because they're sewn down. So that's something that could possibly irritate people. I used to get really bent out of shape about it, and I would try to edge coat them, but I would just make a mess.
I don't think it's that big of a deal though, honestly. Like,
yeah, but see, I didn't edge coat them on your, because it's like almost impossible.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't look bad to me though. Like, it's not something I would have recognized.
Yeah.
And been like, ugh, you know.
So lazy.
No. You gotta go. You're gonna get cat hair in the edge coat, sir.
Sweet, yes. And cat hair went right in front of my face. Kelly asked, what edge coat brands are you using? Kelly, I'm actually I did Mod Podge for my base coats. I'm going to see how this all shakes out. And then I also use Giardini, but Lauren is using the edge coat from Mojo Sews. What is that you're doing?
It's a lighter.
Oh.
So I had like a loose thread and I was just lightering it.
Trisha said, have you tried the edge coat roller that holds the edge coat and it sits on the table? Yeah, that's what I was showing before, this little guy. I just made a huge mess with it, and I let edge coat dry in it, so now it doesn't really roll very well. So I ruined that one. Karen said, is Lauren using edge coat or just the paint?
I used the dense edge coat, and then I used the Mojo Sews leather edge paint.
So she's doing combo.
Metallic mint green. It worked great. Yeah.
Kelly said alcohol cleans it or soak it in. Yeah, I've tried to clean it, Kelly, but I don't use it enough to care, if I'm being honest. Like the only time I would use it was if I needed to do a lot of edge coating or base coating. But I'm just a lot quicker with the roller and pulling it out of the actual tub, because it's like big, but it's not big enough to do a ton of pieces at once. You constantly have to refill.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a really weird sound for my kitchen.
I feel like it's as done as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions? We could end this at like 3 hours, which doesn't feel like it's been 3 hours, but
I know I can't believe it has been, but I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm glad we're almost done. Damn, it's already 2 o'clock. That's crazy. Well, it's 1 o'clock
for you, yeah.
I'm just scrolling back up. Christine Whitaker said that she went to Lowe's and bought a piece of sheet metal the size of her mat, and she got magnets. And so she's doing that trick. I've been seeing that online. That's really smart to hold stuff in place.
Yeah. I feel like I don't cut enough for it to, or like, I don't know. I don't cut enough like thin cottons, I guess, for it to be.
Yeah, I'm not cutting a whole lot of cut. I mean, I cut linings of bags, but now that I have my acrylic templates, that really holds it in place for me.
Yeah.
I just started using the big ruler. When I got this one for me, I'm like, gosh, what am I even going to use this for? But now, because I've been making a lot of totes and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's where this thing comes in handy.
Do you want to see the one we're bringing to Tennessee, hopefully, if it gets here?
Oh, wow. What's that one?
It's an 18 by 18.
He's out here doing the most with all these rulers.
I know. They better come, but I love it so much.
I love all the glittery stuff.
Yeah. I did have someone email me. They're like, are you going to release rulers without any glitter? And like, yes, that's a great idea. Maybe in the future when we have room, but I want to make a sticker that's like, if my glitter's too loud, then you're too old. But I don't mean it. I don't mean it.
Yeah, just a LOL.
Yeah. Because I know it can be hard to see through the glitter, but I don't have a problem with it. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing that I find a little bit challenging on the rainbow is like the blue. When it's flat, the blue sometimes I have a hard time, but since you've lightened it from the original one, it's not, I don't think it's bad at all, but I like them. They're definitely fun and pretty. I mean, it makes you like really focus and pay attention to what you're cutting, which I think is that's a good attribute.
Yeah.
Jade said, do you sand between base coat and color coat? Did you sand? No, Lauren didn't.
I think if you make sure that you use a lighter around your edges, you're going to have less of an issue with needing to sand.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you create a nice flat workspace to start with, it shouldn't, which I think that's why I haven't had to do sanding as much anymore. But sometimes I'll give it a light scuff just to help with adhesion, but I don't.
And then maybe if you're using like a really standout edge coat color, you'd want to make sure you sand it.
Yeah, just to be sure that it's all nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
cool. Well, thank you to everybody for joining us. And Lauren, thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this with me. I'm so excited I finally made one.
Yes, good job. I'm very proud of you. Here's mine.
Yay. So good. I can't wait to see the 40 more you make.
Yeah, we'll see. I usually only have like 5 or 8 on my table, so just 5 or 8 more to make now.
Yeah, it's the best wallet. I'm sorry. I've been carrying it for 2 years and I love it so much.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you.
Genius. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much to everybody for hanging out with us today. If you have any questions, comment on Nicole's video or my video and we'll answer, or we won't.
Use the link on Lauren's video to enter for the 5 no class passes for SME Tennessee if you're interested in coming and browsing and checking it out.
Or saying hi or whatever.
Yeah. Pop in.
Bye.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Lauren, how do we get out of here? Oh, there we go. All right. Bye.
Bye.